serious. I'm totally serious about that. Because you
I
can
don't
blow
know.
smoke.
What I've seen, you got 9 engineers up on the dais half the time.
Well, yeah. I've seen it where you're going to drop that salt water in there. It's going to kill everything. I've seen it. That's hard to go Yeah,
Yep, starting the All good. And good morning. Let me turn off this. There we go. All right. Everybody should be up. Craig Thompson, Debbie Noble, Tyler Thorson. My name is Jacob Oggs. Hello to everybody on YouTube. We're not on the radio yet, but in about 3 minutes we will be. Thank you to, we already have 5 people watching on Island Moon Live.
Yes.
Outstanding. Let me add.
On the YouTube or Island Moon Live on Facebook.
Oh, yes.
That's right, both. You can do both.
Where is... There we go.
Whenever I post about it, Tyler, I always post the links, but I put them in the comments because if you put them in the actual post,
You don't see it.
the algorithm doesn't like it as much. Yeah.
I know I should
But
do
then
that.
you say you're going to put the link in the contact, and then I
forget.
always forget. Or if you put it in a group, then you have to remember to go do it.
And then that's where you get those things, when you realize it's a scam, and then there's no comments in there, and you're like, oh well, yeah, the miracle salve. Yes, I use this salve, and now my eyes are just perfect. You're like, and then it says AI generated figures.
I ignore
hate
those.
that.
I ignore all that. If it says AI, I don't read it.
You see these jack guys who are going like, I did this on the military workout. And it's like AI generated body. It's like,
Nope.
God,
Nope. No,
They're
thank
getting...
you.
I could do this on the White Claw workout.
I want Craig to be designing the entire seawall. I don't want AI to do it.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. Didn't they just have a thing in the news where it's a high school graduation and they used AI to read out the names of all the kids and they forgot a whole bunch of them and said them wrong and all the kids were booing and yelling?
Jai Jai Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Because they always say things wrong. The emphasis is
Chihuahua.
Yeah, Chihuahua. Yeah, they would say
That was
Chihuahua.
WKRP in Cincinnati, right?
Yeah. Jai Jai Rodriguez, that was,
Yep.
yeah.
Now we look really old, yeah.
Nesbitt.
We look really
You
old.
say the frozen turkey drop and
Yep.
people don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was a good one. A classic.
But this guy's just a tot.
Maybe he
Oh,
watches
they're
it in
going through
reruns. In syndication.
Midday Wall Street business report is going on right now.
All right. Is that a dolphin out there? I went on a boat trip Tuesday night with my husband and a whole bunch of people from the Propeller Club. It was really fun, but I kept trying to shoot dolphins, but they go underwater so quickly I didn't get that.
See, we don't like dolphins as fishermen. Just
Oh,
like
yeah, they chase away all
They're
that.
great. They chase stuff off. It's like,
Yeah.
good.
It's a good way to know when to move.
Yes.
Yeah.
That when you catch hardheads.
Yeah.
But they have they're God's creatures too. I had one just throwing up flounder and stuff.
Yeah.
They'll just play with their food.
Oh,
When I was working offshore, we'd always hate them because they'd come in and just pull the snapper right off the end of your line.
oh wow.
Yeah, they're smart. They don't get hooked.
Look what's hanging here, right, all ready for me. Look, treats. Hanging treats.
But if you need one to put a mine underneath a ship or something like that, that'd be awesome.
Lasers.
Iranian.
Where are the lasers?
They had some dolphins here years ago. Like my kids were in high school. They had some here that were doing that. They
Yeah.
were doing that kind of work because
Yeah.
we got to go down and my kids got to play
Yeah,
with them
they're
and talk to them. Yeah.
they're smart.
They were amazing.
I was watching some guy says he doesn't eat octopus anymore because they're smart and they remember stuff. There's a
You're
deal
gonna
on.
remember that you ate them.
No, they remember
All right,
things.
here we
No, I
go.
know. They are smart.
And welcome aboard to Island Moon Live. We are here at our Waterline Studios on a beautiful Island Moon Thursday. Craig Thompson with Hanson Professional Services, Tyler the Salty Angler Thorson, Debbie Noble, and my name is Jacob Oggs. A lot to get to and talk about. If you want to follow along, you can either tune in on Island Moon Live on YouTube, or you can find us at News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM Corpus Christi. So this is Island Moon Live. We do this every Thursday, and we talk about events going on Padre Island, Port Aransas, Flower Bluff, and the Coastal Bend as a whole. And Craig is on ISAC. You've been on ISAC for a few years. How long?
I think it's probably about 5 or 6 years. I know I term off in 2027.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, coming up.
Nice.
All right. Well, and one of the things that you've kind of that's been on the mind with ISAC has always been the seawall. Now, when we're talking about the seawall, for everybody out there in Radioland, it's
Right.
the Michael J. Ellis seawall, not the downtown seawall.
Right. Not to be confused with.
Yes,
We get a lot
yes,
of
the
seawalls.
Michael J. Ellis seawall, which was built in the middle of the night mysteriously by aliens, and and the GLO would never allow for something like this to be built ever again. And it was when was it built?
It was built in the I think it started in '68, I believe.
Okay, that
I
sounds
think in
good. Yeah, yeah.
'72, in fact, Jeff Edmonds last night at the public meeting was saying in '72 they actually had to halt construction of it. I think some lawsuits ensued from,
Yeah.
as you mentioned,
Okay.
the state,
The aliens.
But I I think the plan
They
was
had a good
actually. The plan was actually to extend it even further south and north, is what he had said last night. So that was kind of interesting.
So
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Towards the jetty and towards Bobble.
Yeah.
I know that the insurance rates for everything behind the seawall are quite lower than everything not protected.
Well, yeah. When you take a look at the FEMA floodplain map,
Yeah.
certainly there's a shadow behind the seawall itself. It obviously does a pretty good job of protecting during tidal events, major tidal events especially, but even during some of these smaller tidal events, you're looking at, with these kind of coastal advisories we're looking at.
Yeah, well, and
A lot recently.
so it's privately owned technically. So each owner of the section of the seawall owns their part in front. But lately, a few people, John Michael and I know Jay Gardner, yourself, and a few others, Dan Suckley was really instrumental in this, have kind of turned some of the power of maintenance over to the city. How does that work exactly?
Right. So you mentioned ownership. The ownership hasn't changed. The ownership is still with those lots that are adjacent to the seawall. So those lands still own the portion of the seawall, and I believe their ownership actually goes out to the front face, to the seaward face of the seawall. The ownership hasn't changed. However, recently the city and folks have garnered some maintenance, and the access easements. Actually, the access to it was part of the lawsuit. So the public was given access to that back when that lawsuit was settled with the General Land Office. But the maintenance requirements and the repairs were under the jurisdiction of each individual landowner there. And so recently, yes, with this project, obviously, I think the need for repairs are there. Y'all have seen that. Everybody
yeah.
that
Yeah.
that has walked has seen that the need for the repairs there. But it was left up to the individual landowners, and so the city.
Now, do they have a cohesive group? Or, I mean, as people sold land and bought land, or do they actually, work all together on this? Or is it kind of, because who's going to fix, just their few feet? They'd have to all
Well,
work together.
I think that's the problem that was trying to be solved with this. I don't
Yeah.
think there was a cohesive group, and I think
Right.
it was left up to individual landowners. And I think some had done some superficial repairs to it, but really as a whole, the repairs weren't getting done as probably they needed to. And so the city, you mentioned Dan Suckley.
And Greg Smith, they don't want to leave him out.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and
Never.
and certainly Jeff Edmonds and engineering at city staff and other folks there kind of led the charge getting some of the easements. I think we had talked a little bit offline about some of the maybe confusion as to what those easements
Right.
were and what that was going to entail. There were some folks. I know some folks at Gulfstream and El Constante. There were
Yeah.
some folks there that certainly helped lead the charge to create a bit more of a cohesive group with
Yeah.
the landowners.
Which is
Yeah.
great because
Right.
Gulfstream has how many residents?
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
it's a large kind of portion, and then El Constante has a few permanent residents as well as other
Right.
kind of out of town owners,
Right.
That
The
all have a stake in this.
The problem was that FEMA would not rebuild private stuff, and so that's why somehow the city managed to turn that into a flood relief something. That's how it got off the books to where the city could be a part of that and maintain it in perpetuity.
Yeah, how is
How
this
did that happen?
How is this beneficial other than just to me walking and not tripping on a crack?
Right, and Jeff Edmonds can explain it better, but I do believe with the easements that have been garnered from the city, I do believe that the ability now is that if there is damage with a storm or otherwise, that they can get FEMA funds to repair it. And I don't want to necessarily get in the weeds there because I'm not
Right.
sure I even truly understand it. But Jeff Edmonds did a really good job yesterday explaining that, and he'd be a good person to have on to kind of talk about the intricacies of FEMA flood relief and damage and things that they can get those funds for. But I do know with the way that it's set up now, with the responsibility of Corpus Christi with regard to this seawall, that they can go get FEMA funds to do major repairs to it.
Now,
This-
does that help with insurance also, I assume, for people building new things? Or
I'm
Yeah.
not sure I have an
All right.
answer to that.
That sounds good, though.
Yeah.
That's another question we can ask.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things is there was a big question as to whether or not you could insure the seawall. It might be
Right.
like one of those random. The only people that'll do it are like Lloyd's of London, and it's you're paying $27,000 a month for this crazy policy. But the whole reason was, look, if we have another storm and something happens to the seawall, it's of vital importance to all the residents of
Yes, it
people
is.
that part of the island.
Yeah.
And
Right.
including Corpus Christi, the whole city.
And
Yeah.
all of us. That gets
That's-
used a lot.
Yeah. So we're setting
It's a huge draw.
a good example. And Jeff, there was a meeting last night at the Wyndham. I was out here. I don't know if people. I'm sure you can go on the city's website and probably hunt it down. I know they had cameras and everything set up. It was really,
Good.
really well done. And yourself and Jeff got up and talked about kind of updates to the seawall. And Jeff did a great job kind of outlining structurally and then kind of as a plan what was going on. But you guys came up with some pretty awesome designs. And you had who was
Yes.
who was the designer, the architect?
It's Ferris. Ferris is the landscape architect. They're
Okay.
out of Austin. They're affiliated with LJA, who's Jay Gardner, who we were using to help with the environmental. So it was a natural fit to the team. But Mauricio Vela with Ferris is who has been really leading the charge on the design side. Came up with some wonderful. I joke. When we had gotten to a point about a 60% design level about a year ago, we did a presentation to folks at the gymnasium out at the school here on the island, and some of the folks at the city and other. We had put some designs together for some shade structures and seating that looked like a civil engineer had put these designs together, and the city kind of leaned over, after the meeting and said, we need to get serious about this because,
Yeah.
we get one shot right
Yeah.
at doing these types of amenities, and let's make sure we do it right. And certainly we heard that. We brought on Ferris to help. We initially started with what we're calling the plaza, but it's the area where the city parking lot there is
Right, right.
adjacent to the seawall
Yeah.
or to the promenade there on top of the seawall. And so we started there. They came up with some concepts, and then it kind of blew me away, and I think but we presented that to city staff.
Mm-hmm.
They really liked it, and they said, "Hey, wait, what about other amenities along the promenade, more
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
up and down the seawall than just there out in front of the city parking lot?"
And what amenities did you have right out there outside the parking lot? Shade
So-
structures, I
Right,
see.
so a mixture of shade areas or shade structures, seating areas
Seating.
underneath that. Dressing up those bathrooms that are there. They
They're
look
very
like
they're
probably
very
a civil engineer designed that one too.
They're very functional looking.
Well, they're stainless steel. They're great.
They're built to
are-
last.
and they are function over form, but I think, what can we do with that? Maybe some murals, maybe also right now you can drive up, or with you're standing there, you can look right in, someone opens a door, you can look right in there. And so we thought, what about maybe some structure there to kind of block, let the breeze
Yeah, like a
blow
privacy
through,
wall kind of
but
thing.
kind of a privacy wall there. We also are looking at some maybe some monumentation or some signage or some
Yeah.
statue is one of the things we're
I
looking
know
at.
that the Padre Island Business Association and Stan had been talking to Jennifer Seymour, our amazing artist out here, for a long, long time about doing something out there.
And it's kind of interesting how different low roads lead to kind of
Right,
an
the same.
intersection,
It all has to come
right?
together, right.
And so, like ISAC, I see Brian coming in, but ISAC that had been brought up, what the business association out here had wanted to do with the sign. I know they
Yeah.
were looking at some other places to
Yep.
put it, and
Yep.
then we're looking at that area there in the plaza,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden we're looking for something like that,
Right,
and
that's-
then and
it's
ISAC
like,
had
peanut butter and chocolate make
and
it Reese's.
ISAC, we had just been talking about, helping the Business Owners Association kind of find a location for that. So
Yeah.
maybe it just kind of
Maybe that'll all work out.
Yeah, exactly. And so and he was there last night
Yeah.
talking about the sign there, and I know he's going to get us some. I think they've already got some.
I did.
designing,
I saw some
sign-
designs that I
Right.
think he and Jennifer put together, and it
And-
looks beautiful. I love it.
So
I
I-
can see people who are visiting here, taking pictures of that, taking selfies
Yeah.
with it, sending it out. That's great advertising.
Is that where you stick your face in there and you're a surfer?
No, it's better than that. It's better than that.
Well, and I think the thought was, and what we had always kind of started of, is what's the Instagram moment or the picture you
yeah.
take and you put on Instagram and do it. He made a mention last night that the most photographed place I think out here on the island
It's
is
probably Bob Hope here.
Well,
No?
he said it's the Shark at the
Oh yes, the shark.
Yeah.
We,
at
we
the
call that the
souvenir
shark mall
shop
store.
there,
Yeah.
and so
Ooh, they
you
just
know,
painted that red. I don't know.
We'd love to be able to turn, something on the seawall, which
Yes,
is
absolutely.
I think, much more indicative of Padre
Yes.
Island
Yes.
and the beach and everything.
Yeah. I mean,
And
we
so
love
let's-
we love the shark, but let's
Sure,
get some
yeah.
more great.
No,
Right,
I think
right.
an Ulberg sculpture
Yeah.
would be awesome over there.
Yeah. And Ulberg. Well, we have one
And-
on the way in. We have one on the
And,
that you
and
drive
that
around
was
the
the
land.
other thing that we said, you place for some signage, but also is there an opportunity of this kind of iconic type
Yeah.
sculpture
Yep.
where you can also put some plaques and some memories like Michael J. Ellis or some of
Mm-hmm. Right.
the other, historical type things
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah.
that at the base of that, but then have like, I don't know if it's turtles or something like that, an Olberg type
Right.
sculpture there.
we're-
That would be
I
We've got
love
more
some
ideas
community
and
art.
more of this coming up. Stick with us. We're going to take a quick break. Everybody, hold fast.
How's it going? Nice to see you.
Texas. Texas surfer girl.
We got music now. We're still live on Facebook. But they're,
So,
On the day that she was
I had this moment when you said we were out shooting dolphins or trying to shoot dolphins. For a split second, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Right? I'm pretty sure that's illegal,
Wait,
Debbie.
wait a minute. I mean,
my definition of shoot is way different than yours.
and then Tyler weighed in and said, well, we don't really like the dolphins when we're fishing. I'm
And
like,
then
oh
you're
my
like, oh,
goodness,
God.
what do we get? What did I wade into
What have I
here?
done in this show? People are out
people
killing
really hate
dolphins. Oh,
dolphins.
Oh my God, no.
You're quite a golfer, aren't you?
Yeah.
These guys are so angry.
No, we love dolphins. We were trying to get a picture of the dolphins.
Now, Dr. Gill, you're going to have to get up and close. I said, like
Yeah.
like a lion's charging you with your last
Yeah,
shot.
yeah, yeah.
That's the kind of voice we want today.
That's right.
So-
I'm gonna just keep kicking you if you're too far away.
Those are hard.
You're
You have to
talking
really
to the
get
side,
close to him.
not
But
the
thankfully,
top,
he's
to the
very
side.
skinny and doesn't have a big belly in there like I do.
Yeah, keep.
It's getting a little bit bigger every year.
I know, aren't they all? Aren't we all?
You can hear yourself when you turn. It goes out of your ear a little bit.
That's what we don't want you to.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Yep.
It's
because
funny
if
how
you
you-
can't hear you, they can't hear you either.
Yeah, we'll get people to start talking and then just like lean back,
Yeah.
and
then
like
you're
pushing the mic towards them.
Do you have the
Yes,
closed
it is.
caption on?
It's over there.
You can. I'm sure it'll pick it up on YouTube.
He gets
Yeah.
the spelling wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
Just
It
kind of like
does,
the
but
AI.
yeah,
Never spells my name right, but I'm used to that.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you go by
Maybe
Oggs.
close
Yeah.
enough. Be better than nothing. I mean.
For clarification, did Tyler shoot a dolphin?
Yes.
No.
No, and neither did I. There
Yes.
was no shooting.
No, we
dolphins
did
were
not
on
shoot
the
any
beginning
dolphins.
of
Have to
this
have a-
radio show.
A PSA as
Shoot
soon as
with
we come
a-
back.
with a-
yeah.
Camera.
Sorry, I brought it up.
No, that's a good thing because people, you're not thinking that way. People think that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why you
true.
need to say what the acronym is for ISAC. Other think, is that a
Yeah, I
grocery
was thinking
store?
about that
Yep.
too.
It's a
Yeah,
grocery
yeah.
store where you bag your own groceries.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Isaac. Oh my God.
I mean,
It's a DIY grocery
it's
store.
like you're the chef, one of those
Yeah.
things.
I cook.
Island
ISAC.
Strategic Action
I
Committee.
cook ISAC. Yeah. I used to be on the IUPAC.
Here we go.
Island United Political Action Committee, not to be confused with bagging your own groceries. Are we back?
And that's right, we are back. Welcome aboard. This is Island Moon Live. We are from our live from our Docks Waterline Studios. We are downstairs here looking at the beautiful JFK Causeway.
Yes, indeed.
Dr. Brian Gully joining us, Craig Thompson. We got Tyler Thorson, Debbie Noble. My name is Jacob Oggs, and we're kind of going over the updates that are about to begin, right? We're still, what level of design is this? Are we at now?
We are getting really close to 100% design, which we will
Nice.
submit to the city when the landscape architect is finished with their plans and the
Okay.
structural is completed with the shade structures and some of the other things. And so we're getting there. We're probably about a month out on that.
Okay, that's not bad.
The rest of the seawall repairs are pretty much complete, but we will submit 100% design to the city. Certainly, they'll go through their review, provide any final comments, and then we'll get we call it a signed and sealed delivery. And then that's when we're ready to go out for bid. So,
what kind of condition is the seawall itself? How is it doing? Like, how much work has to be done to it?
right. So, I
'Cause
mentioned
it
this.
seems pretty sturdy.
Right, and I mentioned this last night during during the public meeting. We did do a structural assessment on it, meaning
Because I saw you out there one day drilling holes in there.
right, and so we
For the record, he was drilling holes in the seawall for structural integrity
Yeah,
testing,
right, right.
not on
Not
Bob
fish
Hall
rod
Pier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fish rod holder.
not
Oh my
rod
gosh, we're gonna have to do a
holders.
lot of clarifications.
Debbie's.
this time.
We're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Debbie needs a little rider at the bottom. She was shooting dolphins with her camera.
Yeah.
We have to. Yeah, we just
was
got to make
drilling
sure we're
holes.
saying this
We're
right.
drilling holes
No,
in the
so-
concrete to test the structural.
So
okay.
you can see about 3 steps from where the sand is on the seawall. How much further down does it go?
a good 3 or 4 more steps down. And during our structural
Yeah.
assessment, we did excavate out in front of that, remove the sand. We're able to get all the way to the bottom step and see how far that toe wall went down. There's a toe wall out in front of that final step, or the most seaward step, that goes about 2.5, 3 feet down. So it's a substantial structure, no doubt.
Now, are you going to be digging that out so we see all
so-
those stairs, or we're just going to leave them covered?
Right. So, and interesting point. The stairs and the concrete that we found that were buried within the sand were actually in much better shape than the ones that are
Right.
exposed. And you can probably imagine why with the
Yeah.
environment and everything else. But we will remove that sand. We will take the concrete repairs, the cap that we're going to be putting on the seawall. We will take that all the way down to the bottom of the top of the bottom step.
Yep.
We will not go down along the face of there, but we will go down to and cap the bottom step, and then we'll of course bring the sand and put it back at whatever level it's at now. And so we will take the repairs all the way down. Going back to the structural assessment, we did do some ground penetrating radar on the promenade on the top
Yeah.
there of the seawall. One of the things we were looking for, and I mentioned this at the public meeting last night, we were looking for any voids that may be underneath there, under the promenade. Because as you can imagine, if you're putting, quite a bit of dead load, we call it a dead load, but a load on top of the existing promenade, if there are voids underneath there, you may have some structural integrity issues. So we were looking for that. We really found, in some of the cores that you saw that we
Yeah.
were taking the holes in the seawall, we were getting some cores to check the thickness, but then also we did that in areas where we thought maybe we could see some areas that there could be some possible voids. We found no areas with any voids, and so that kind of
Nice.
matches with what we were seeing up on top of the promenade,
Yeah.
with the cracking and some other things.
So
And
pretty sturdy overall.
So we really feel like it's in pretty good shape structurally underneath. It's
Yeah.
just superficially, we've got to get it another, we've got to extend the life. We talked earlier, it was built initially in the 60s,
Yep.
late 60s. And so let's see if we can put a cap on this and get another 60, 70 years worth of life
Nice.
on
Okay.
it.
So
And-
I can see in my mind there are people listening to this program, driving around and working with their hands up, trying to ask the question, where did the money come from?
Oh, yeah, good point.
Right. So, the city initially, I think, had allocated some funds, and I think almost all of it, at least I believe, was coming from the TERS number 2, which is the tax incremental refinance zone. I don't know, is there a neat acronym or
TERS.
Or, TERS. There you
TERS.
go.
That's
Right.
TERS.
So TERS number 2, it had initially been allocated there. There were some things and some other folks that were pulling some money away from that, and so and then some shortfalls on the other side of the ledger with some slower development that was happening out here on the island. And so there was some concerns that it may be delayed, that the project may be delayed. There were some folks that brought that to TERS number 2's attention and to the city council's attention. And so staff and Councilwoman Paxton, I think, worked together with city manager and other folks to be able to go back into TERS number 2 and be able to identify those funds. By the way, we're talking $15 million, so it's not just a small amount. They went and identified those funds, were able to bring that, and now they have those funds within TERS number 2 to be able to do that. Now, as far as, do they pull that into the CIP? I think maybe those funds are pulled into the CIP budget for the city to be able to fund it. But ultimately, those funds are coming from TERS number 2.
Yeah.
And tell us, where does TERS money come from? How does that work for people who don't know?
So there's one downtown. The first one was
Yep.
downtown, and
Yep.
then we ended up with the second one. Now I think there's about 7 people are trying to set up around different areas in
Right,
the city.
It's to help revitalize certain areas.
Yeah, so tax money that instead of it getting harvested from one place and then being redispersed everywhere, that money gets reinvested in those
in the
areas.
place that it came from.
Right, and it can only go for public improvement projects. It can't go for like a private pool or people that have any kind of businesses or own property in that area. It's only public improvement.
use.
And there have been a huge list. I know that the ISAC, the Island Strategic Action Committee, it's not a you bag at grocery store like Tyler said earlier. That's so I'm going to use that. It's hilarious.
Absolutely.
But the ISAC has had several projects that they've been using TERS funding for, and it's been kind of getting on my nerves that everybody looks at that like just an empty wallet and or an open wallet
open
that they can
wallet,
just
yeah.
go in and use whenever.
Right.
And there have been several cases where we haven't received we meaning the island in this area, haven't received some city funding because they're like, oh, we have the TERS, like just do
Yeah,
that.
you already
Yeah,
have that.
we gave you yours now. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Like it had to go with the bond with
Yep.
fixing
Yeah.
the muddle and puddle.
Yep.
That's how
Exactly.
that happened.
Yeah.
Which is muddly puddly today.
It
Yeah.
is. Dr. Gully, you were on that finance thing with the TERS. There was talk at one point, well, like in 27, it's going to go to $400,000. That's it, or it got really low there for a
It gets
while.
down really, really low.
Yes.
And so one of the things we're concerned, and Chad and I have been talking about it, and others have been talking about it, trying to warn the TERS board, which is mostly the city council and mostly the county commissioners, the people that contribute to it with their tax share. But it's really looking, they were getting really optimistic because we had 2 big developments out here. And one of them is not developed yet, or just
Right.
really, really doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Yep.
And the other one is not moving near as fast as they had hoped to be.
Right.
And so we started kind of giving this warning out that you may have over predicted how much money is going to be available, and we don't want to be caught committing a bunch of money that doesn't show up. We don't have as much going in because Delmar dropped out of it. They're not giving us their share anymore, and that's something I would like to address at some point. At least ask them again, hey, can you participate? Because on this island, we contribute a lot of tax money to Delmar. We all pay taxes to Delmar, and we pay as much tax to Delmar as we pay to the county. But we get a lot more from the county than we get from Delmar. And I say this, I had breakfast this morning with one of the board members, but maybe he's not listening. But I really think that they should commit their share that comes from here, because they don't carry a lot of students out of here. Most of the students that go to college out here go to the university. So I'd like to get them back on board, and it doesn't ever hurt to ask to contribute, go back and join us. We can do
The
that.
answer is always no if you don't
Well,
ask.
yeah, if you don't ask, that's right. So
Exactly.
we'll see.
But this is a good point you made, because when you were talking earlier, Craig, about the money not being in there, it made it sort of sound like somebody had taken it out and used it for
No,
something else and
it's
had to put
just-
it back. But it's not. It was we're planning on money that isn't actually going
It's
to be
just
there.
not coming
just
in
not
as
coming
fast
in
as we
right.
had hoped.
That's a good
And
clarification.
the forecast didn't turn out to be, the development's coming in as fast as we could. I mean,
Right.
one of them's really not moving at all yet.
yeah. Yeah.
I did hear the other day, I think Dale told me that the big tract of land that's just adjacent to south part of Packard Channel, that big empty tract of land, they're going to get a PID or a PUD or something for that, and that opens, they have a plan for developing that property. It's right on the water. And if you recall, and most of us do, that was controversial at one time when the previous group wanted to close that beach.
It's
Oh,
funny
yeah.
that you mentioned that, and we're going to get to that in just a little bit.
And that didn't go over
We're,
well.
we're taking a quick commercial break. Everybody hold fast.
Cause
Like a drill
there's just
tone.
something about Odoranzas that will make
I'm not sure anything is resonating quite as loud. Maybe the water stuff now. But don't steal my beach.
Don't steal my beach.
Yeah, that on the back of the bumper sticker. I haven't seen that.
That was before my time.
once you've been there, then you'll know you'll never want to leave her. My island in the Gulf.
I was in the Northeast back then, so.
Freezing with
You
your
didn't see the bumper sticker.
heating
They
oil.
were
No,
down
we
here.
did not see him. I just remember my father, was the whole like, shut the door, I'm not heating the home outside. And we had our thermostat low, we were freezing in our house. We
Like
had a
on
wood
Christmas
stove.
Story.
We
Well,
were,
they didn't
we were conserving, man. We conserved.
They
I'm
didn't
a
want to
child of the
drill their hole,
70s.
they
We did
just wanted
that.
us to do it down here for them.
Yeah.
Well, I figured
I was
that
too little to know.
60%, and it's like, is it 1.2 billion now, or is it 1.6 billion? Sorry. Is it going to go up?
Of what?
The cost from
Cost of
15 to
what?
16? The cost of redoing the
Well, if we're going to be obviously putting amenities on it now, that cost for the amenities is certainly going to go up. I don't know. It's always funny to talk about, or not funny. It's always hard to predict what costs are going to be. Gas prices right now, the price of diesel.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
transportation's cost for
the-
stuff getting down here?
The huge part of this project is going to be delivering the steel and delivering the concrete to the site,
Right,
and
two
then
things
working
that
the
are-
machinery out there.
Yeah.
And so diesel plays a really big
didn't even
part
think of that.
in what these costs are going to be. And it's more the unknown, because contractors are bidding for something that they're going to be working on for the next year to
Yeah.
18 months.
But it
And
could
so,
change any time,
I mean, and so I think that's probably the biggest thing. I do believe, in talking with folks, I do believe we're going to be able to get all the repairs done for that 15 million. I just, in the back of my mind, and we're going to be bidding it out such that the amenities are going to be as an additive alternate, meaning they'll be able to select, the city will be able to select which ones they want to move forward with based upon the budget or the funds that they have available. But I don't know. I doubt all the amenities will come in under that number. No.
Of course, we have to do this on the radio.
I know, you have to say it
Yeah,
again.
again.
Right? Everything you just said.
Ted, you guys
say all that again.
That's man, that was very, very
practice right
well spoken,
there.
articulate.
Yeah, say it again. Now that we've talked about money.
Well, they want to know what it's cost.
No, people do. People do. Pelican just drove by.
Sorry, YouTubers, you got to hear it again.
Right.
How long is
Almost
our next
back.
segment? How long is the next segment? How long is the next
Oh,
segment?
it's election season, so they're probably playing
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
the so and so for mayor
Yeah.
3
It's
minute.
kind of a
Yeah.
catchy song. That
It's
It's a
Uh,
spell bunny.
worth,
Yeah, is it AI done?
Oh, we do need to
Oh, is
remind.
it
We do
AI?
need to remind
Yeah.
people to vote.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, we do need to remind people to vote because early voting goes till 7 tonight and 7 to 7 tomorrow, and then it's
All
next
right.
Tuesday, and that's it.
Here we go.
You keep saying that.
And we are back. Welcome aboard. You're here with us on Island Moon Live on a beautiful Island Moon Thursday. A little cloudy, but I don't think anyone here is complaining about the rain.
No.
Craig Thompson, Debbie Noble, Dr. Brian Gully, Tyler, CorpusFishing.com, Thorson, and my name is Jacob Oggs. We're talking about the upcoming improvements to the seawall out here on the island, the Michael J. Ellis seawall. And Craig's been instrumental, as well as a bunch of other people, at kind of getting it cleaned up and updated and available for FEMA funding. It's one of the big things. It's been a kind of multifaceted approach, and definitely big up to everybody who's been involved. Our city councilwoman, Kaylin Paxson, had some good kind of insight and stuff on everything yesterday. at the meeting that was about this, and Craig's
yeah.
kind of gone into where the money has come from for this and what's going on. Let's kind of move forward with it for a little bit. How long do you think it would take for the kind of resurfacing and the rest of the design phase of this project to be?
Yeah, so I had mentioned, last night at the meeting, if we could have a contractor just work from one side, go all the way down to the other, and just put the concrete and resurface it, they could probably get that work done in 6, 7, maybe 8 months. But you can't do that. Not in the seawall that has folks that live there that need access at all
Okay.
times, in an area where you're going to have spring break and other things happening
barefoot
along the
Mardi
beach
Gras?
and
Yeah.
barefoot
Mardi
Mardi Gras.
Gras.
Absolutely.
Well, and you also, even though it's close to the water, you still have to do studies for sea turtles and spotted eagle rays and manatees. My family and too as well.
You're
We're-
certified.
We're all certified manatee observers. So if you need one,
Literally.
just give me
I
a call.
love that about you.
So the permit that we've gotten from the Corps of Engineers is going to require that the contractor, whoever that is that's selected, that they have daily, or that they have folks that are out there daily looking, checking for turtles and other
Yeah.
types of wildlife. And so certainly that's going to be part of it. With regard back to the schedule, I'd say 9 months if they had the ability to just move up there. But all these other circumstances, you mentioned natural events. I mean, the tidal events we have right now, probably they're not going to be able to do any construction during these types of things. So I told folks I would expect it to last at least 12 months. I really probably think it's going to be more around 16 to 18 months overall.
Everything
for
always takes longer
it-
than you think or want. Yeah.
it does, and even if we start, we're hoping to start after Labor Day, as soon
Yep.
as possible after Labor Day, to be able to hit that shoulder season or that light
Yep.
season as much as possible, to get with the repairs within the condos that are there, that are have folks at it, to be able to hit those quickly as soon as possible, so that during the busier seasons, and I know I mentioned this and I've noticed this, there really is no light season on there,
No.
because you mentioned the folks that live out there, and then the Winter Texans that are here. We were out there in February along the promenade, and it was about as busy as I've ever
yeah.
seen that promenade.
I
So
walk out
many
there in the
people.
winter all the time.
And,
Yeah.
and so we know there's not like really a light season, but
Yeah.
we are going to try and get those areas out in front of the existing improvements during that shoulder season. But then, there's times where we got to shut down. So I think probably 18 months is
Right.
probably a realistic thing. Summer comes, may close us down, not close us down,
But
but
it's slow you-
slow us
slow you
down a little
Yeah,
bit.
that
So-
Barefoot Mardi Gras is February 20th, 2027. So you got to make
Yep.
sure that you're we got room to go on that
and
day.
spring break right on the heels of that.
Right after
So
that, yeah.
there are certainly those things that we're going to have to make sure that the contractor's aware of, those
Yep.
types of timing. And then also one of the things I mentioned last night is the communication between the city and us on the engineering and environmental side, the contractor with the landowners that are there.
Right.
As we start to, because there's going to be times that portions of the promenade are going to be blocked off. The
Right.
signage, the notes there, the traffic out in front of it. When are we going to have some of that blocked off? So we're
Right.
going to have to do a lot of communication with
Yep.
those landowners, with the community out here.
I'm sure the moon can help with some of that.
And absolutely, I know the
Yeah.
moon will help with it. The city, I think, already has a project website, which I think is where you can view the video from last night.
Okay.
And so I think the city's going to be instrumental in helping with that. The moon will. Folks like Island Strategic Action Committee helping to get the word out as well.
I'm sure the Padre Island Business Association will
Right.
do what they can too.
Well, I got a huge smile on my face last night at the meeting when we literally opened it up for public comment, which recently has always been a
Bleeped
moment
out.
of hilarity at city
Oh, at city
functions.
count, yeah.
But we really, I
Bring
think we
popcorn.
only had about 2 or 3 people kind of mention things,
And you
they're-
were saying they had fairly good questions.
No, they had good questions, and I think it was productive discussion that came from those questions.
Yes, well, and the concerns were the kind of open, kind of, I guess, promenade all the way down. They didn't want tables or shade structures or anything really blocking just
Right.
the whole walking access.
Right.
And then as well as ADA access. So you're looking at putting in, right now there's just one ADA ramp right at the front of the slab, we call it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's beautiful, and I hate to take that yellow monstrosity out, but
The only
but
problem is you can't have 2 people on it. Yeah, like
And
you
it
only
fills
go
up
one
with
way at a
sand on the
time.
corner.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And dogs.
So we will be taking that one out. We will be replacing it with a new ADA ramp at that location so
Yeah.
that folks parking there at the city parking lot will have access. But we'll also have 2 new ones on the north and south end, not
nice.
all the way
Yeah.
at the edges, but
But
there
just-
will
okay.
be within kind of the northern and southern portions of the seawall. And then we will be taking out all of the stairs that are there, replacing them. And so you'll see a consistent, the ramps will look
Those
the
are
same.
wooden.
The
Those stairs
the
are wooden,
stairs
yeah.
will look the same.
Gotcha.
I think one of the comments was stainless steel, making sure that we don't, go back with something that they'll have to replace in 6 months. So,
Right.
Certainly we're working towards that in the design. But yeah, I think we're coming back with 11 or 12 different stairs. So
Nice.
we're really trying to make sure we've got consistent access, pedestrian access down the seawall, down to the beach, and then also offering that ADA access as
Yeah,
well.
well, and hey,
Nice.
once everything's done, you're talking about, getting art and some other, murals or things up there. And it's all about looking good. And if you want to look good, you need to go talk to Ted at Impact Marketing. They're right down there off of 423 Schatzel Street downtown. They've got an awesome little showroom. You can see they've got shirts, hats, pens, cups, everything you can think of and imagine for promotional products. You can reach out to them at 887-9300 or just go to impactmarketingcc.com where you can see everything that they can do. If you need safety gear, if you need anything for a upcoming family reunion or team building exercise that you have going on with work, reach out to Ted at Impact Marketing. We really appreciate his help and sponsorship. And tell him that
Yes, we do.
that the Island Moon sent you. But
Excellent.
so getting
transition
back
again.
to and some of the designs and things, of course the mural concepts and all the artwork will still be up for kind of going out to bid and projection once the final design is up. When are you expecting the design? I know it's got to be blessed by the city, so it's a tentative
Right.
date. So don't get them lying on here, but
Right, we're expecting our portion to be complete here in about a month or so. We'll go to the city for their review. Once we've delivered the signed and sealed set of construction documents to the city, they can go out for public bids. That will be this summer. Again, kind of with the goal of being able to start construction, you kind of back in from that, but being able to start construction as soon as possible after Labor Day. Now, I know it takes some time, even once bids are received, to be able to get a contractor on board, go to council and award that, but that is our goal.
Nice.
During the break, you mentioned the initial cost of just to fix it. You said you're going to try to keep it at 15 million, but when you go to these amenities like the extra stuff, you're going to have a lot more cost on there. And I was just thinking, a lot of times folks will have memorials, like they'll do a walkway with bricks and $1,000 donated by Dr. and Mrs.
Oh,
Gully.
yeah, to have signs
Yeah,
on like the benches
or
and stuff,
benches
yeah.
that was in memory of so
In
and
memory
so.
of so-and-so.
We did that kind of stuff with Friends of Padre with Billy Sandifer. We're the ones that put the fountain over there in the dog, because there was no water fountain at Michael J.L.
Yeah.
There's showers, but no water. So we got that done. So maybe something like that could be worked into it.
I think some of the opportunity for things like that, I think especially at the plaza area where the city parking lot's at, that's really where we're looking at brick pavers in there. Looking at, again, I think maybe we had mentioned like an Olberg type statue situation there, some of the signage from the Padre Island business. So,
Association, yeah.
some of those areas are going to have some pedestals and some places around it where you've got the ability to be able to put, like
Here
you
you go.
mentioned, the Dr. Goalie.
No, the Hilliard Plaza.
yeah,
Well,
Sorry.
yeah.
the Thomas J.
Thomas
Henry
J. Henry.
Consolatory Seawall. Yeah.
Let's start another bidding war.
We won't discriminate at all on
yeah,
whoever
hey,
wants to
money's
spend
money. It works too.
Yeah. And one of the things in break, if we have just a minute, we had talked about kind of the bidding strategy there about how, I do believe that the repairs are going to be pretty close to that available budget, which is $15 million. Some of that depends upon diesel costs and other things that we talked about.
Steel and concrete.
Steel and
Yeah.
concrete, and so we're kind of we obviously have some constraints there with regard to budget, but with regard to the bidding strategy, we are going to have these different amenities as several different additive alternates within the bid, and so the city will have that ability to select certain components of the amenities, be able to plug those in as they find money or have available budget to do that.
I think the
Nice.
good idea with the Hilliard Plaza would be you would have the city wouldn't get sued for slip and falls.
There's some strategy there.
There
Yes,
is.
I like
It's
that.
just a thought.
So, Craig, what kind of rebar they use on this? What do you use?
So it's interesting. I've had this question asked and talked quite a bit with the structural engineers. We have Lloyd Engineering, and they are a marine structural engineer, and so that's kind of strictly what they do. We are looking at using standard steel rebar. They really don't think that it's worth the cost to do the epoxy coating, because any little nick you get on that epoxy coating and that rebar, it just and it actually kind of heightens the erosive potential, or not the erosive, but the corrosion potential
'Cause it
at
keeps
that
it
location.
isolated to that
Right,
area.
exactly. So what we will do is we will have some ability to be able to put some corrosion resistant additives into the concrete mix. And so that's one of the things we're looking at.
Nice.
But really, it's about getting that good edge separation. And then this concrete will have, and this is way into the weeds on the design, but it will have a lower water cement content. And so that water cement ratio will actually bring down kind of the porosity that concrete has, and really alleviate, or not alleviate, but kind of mitigate how the salt and the oxygen and things can get into that rebar.
Kind
Isn't
of funny
technology grand?
Yeah, it's kind of funny to talk about and hear you say, "Oh yeah, it's concrete technology," which people would think that concrete wouldn't really change too much throughout the years, but there's a lot of technology and development and money in that.
Well, the
Yeah.
rebar is
So-
what destroys the concrete once it starts
It
rusting.
does.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
you got three options. You've got the epoxy, which as soon as you start dragging that rebar across itself, you
Yeah.
have those nicks. So when I was trying to figure out, I built a 220-foot, 7-foot sidewalk for a bulkhead in my property. And it's right there on the saltwater all the time, 16 years ago.
and we're gonna hold it right there. We're gonna leave you on a cliffhanger. Dr.
Okay.
Gully finishes the story when we return. Everybody hold fast.
I said the 1 minute.
I do got to go because I got to get back to the office for a meeting at noon.
Yeah. Oh, great having
I didn't
you
even
on.
get
Thanks
to
so
use
much.
my face for radio, kind of joke yet, man.
David.
We're picked for our
But I will talk. I will say this, because we did have some discussions about, because they have this new fiberglass reinforcement
Right.
that they use, and it's really something that I think. But the problem with that is you can't bend it like you do the steel. So the steel, and we're going to have a lot of, as you can imagine, going down the
jump on
steps.
in?
There's a lot of bends to the cages and everything
Well,
in
we
the
got- we
rebar.
gotta- you gotta
Here,
go
you can
around
have
the
my
jump.
seat. I'm just about to jump up. But we did look into some of that. But the problem is, it works great when it's on straight lines.
Oh, but not if it's-
But not
if
when
it's-
you're trying to bend it and do
Okay.
that. Then that's where the steel.
So even the type I use, which I didn't bend, but I had mine dip galvanized in San Antonio.
Yeah.
It cost
Really?
It cost 28% more to do that.
Right.
But I've got a piece laying out there for 16 years in the yard, and it never has corroded at all. I mean, it's just amazing. Now, if you bend it, it may be different. It
Yeah.
starts, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I saw the folks at Bob Hall here working on that slab there with the hooks of the rebar.
Yeah.
You know what they were doing? They were squirting it with Ospo. And I thought, man, that's
Well,
old school.
That's also good.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than.
Before you could put it out there the day before you worked on it, it's going to get some surface rust. out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, they
So
were squirting all
Ospo
that
will
down.
kill that.
David Sykes, nice to see you.
Craig,
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it, buddy.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks,
always
nice
good
to see
you.
you.
Thank you, Craig.
Take care. Y'all be good.
Should you be
How you
working?
been? All right?
Good, good.
We're live all the time, even when we're not, because
so
we're
he
live
knows
on
that. No
Facebook.
potty
So
words.
don't say anything. that you
He'll
don't
never
wanna
say
hear.
anything.
Yeah.
He's an Eagle Scout.
Oh, I know. And you
Yeah,
gotta
like
talk.
that.
And you gotta
Like that
talk
trade.
right.
Like all
right
Eagle
into it.
Scouts never cuss.
You gotta get right up there and talk right into it.
It's in their
That's-
pledge, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do my best.
To not cuss like a sailor.
Whoops.
Is this one mine or does it matter?
It can be. I'll have to explain the absence of Craig.
Do we want to say why Dale's not here? Did we say that?
Yeah, we haven't. We
He's
need
on
to.
the way back. Yeah.
Is he?
We need
Yeah.
to say because because he'd
I
normally
know.
be like, what?
I'll let him tell the story.
That's true.
Well, he might not
That'll
make
take
it in
up a whole
time.
segment.
He's waiting on the shipment from Mexico.
No, he already.
Oh, he already texted you?
Yeah, he
Oh,
said
he's
he's
on his
headed
way.
back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the rain got pushed off again. It was supposed to rain at like 10 and then 11, and now it's
Well,
at
it
2.
rained like hell at 5. I mean,
Oh, I know,
it
but now
Okay,
pretty
here we
good.
go.
It's not going to rain right now.
Supposed to do it again tonight, too. I know,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's
It's
excellent.
awesome.
That's right. Welcome aboard. We are back on Island Moon Live on YouTube, also on 1440 KUIS and 98.7 FM. Tyler Thorson, Mr. David Sykes joins us. Good morning. Dr. Brian Gully, Debbie Noble, my name is Jacob Oggs, and big thanks to Craig Thompson, who showed up earlier, gave us a good update on the seawall. They've been doing a lot of development and things on that, and the work that's upcoming is really anticipated, and glad that a lot of people were involved in putting that together. But Dr. Gully, you were about to reveal the secret to how you got the concrete on your place to not get destroyed by no rust on the.
Well, like I was saying, you'll get surface rust on rebar the minute you put it out in this air before you can even use it, and that's what usually destroys concrete in the long run. And you need to keep it 2.5 inches away at the minimum. And that's hard to do on a sidewalk. And so when I was building this 220-foot sidewalk, 7 foot wide, I did a couple of things different. One is it was very expensive to get the rebar that's made out of fiberglass. The epoxy-coated rebar they use on the bridges, every time you drag it across something, it scratches it, and of course then it'll rust. So what I did is I took the regular rebar and sent it to San Antonio. It cost about 28% more. And they dip galvanize every stick of it, and that stuff has held up. I have a piece that I just leave out in the salt water, never has corroded. Now I don't know what happens if you bend it in the sidewalk.
Yeah,
you don't
Which
have
might not
to
be
bend it.
applicable for the seawall,
Breaks
yeah.
the integrity
But
of
I
the
didn't need to bend it.
galvanizing.
Right.
So I did that, and then in addition to that, I added some fiber mesh to it. And I use this at Market 37 as well, and I use it over at Port Aransas, and it worked well. Because we had those sidewalks that when Ernie built those things, over the years, that sand settled down, and it started sinking. And some of it was 4 or 5 inches lower, but it tapered back up away from the bulkhead to normal. So you have to either tear it out and start over. Well, that's not. I wasn't going to do that, and Ernie wouldn't have either. And so what I did was I mixed a bunch of fiber mesh, and Ernie had used it before as well. And that takes the place of rebar, and that allows you to feather it. So you clean the concrete, and you put that white binder on it, and then you feather it down to nothing, and it stays. It doesn't crack.
Interesting.
And the only crackle we had on it after years was one where there was a big shift.
Yeah.
We'd expected that. And I did the same thing in the sidewalk. It added 7% more to the cost of cement.
And it adds years and-
but if it lasts the difference between 30 years and 70 years, it makes a difference.
Speaking of dolphins and shooting them with cameras and not anything else, there's dolphins out there now. There's dolphins out
Oh,
there
they
now.
finally showed up.
Imagine
Dolphin
dolphins if
sighting.
you're on the radio.
David Sykes, you how long? You were at the Caller Times for how long?
About 24 years.
24 years. Yeah, because you were back at the Times when I met you. What and what was your official title there? You were
Outdoors with an S at the end.
Outdoors.
Columnist.
outdoors columnist.
That means I get my little picture in the paper.
Yeah.
What were you before, though? You were something
I was
before that.
briefly a news reporter.
And then they figured out that you were really good at shooting photos of all the things.
No, that's not how they went at all. My predecessor, Buddy Goff, decided after 5 years that he was going to retire and move to Arkansas, where he's from. And he did that and very quickly took a job with the Arkansas Democrat. He did retire
That whole thing
at
where you
all.
think you're going to retire, but then,
Yeah.
5 minutes in, you're like, well, this is boring. What can I do now?
So he left a void at the paper, obviously, and I pleaded, well, not really pleaded, but I urged Larry Rhodes, the publisher at the time, to please not post that position, and he didn't. He did me a great favor, and
Okay.
very quickly he said it was the right move. So you know,
Now, were you a photographer before that?
I was a forced photographer. I
Okay.
always brought a camera with me when I was reporting, even at some of the other papers I worked at,
Yeah.
But I was a point and shoot photographer.
You were a writer.
basically. Yeah, I was a writer with a
Nice.
camera. And then I
Nice.
was a writer with a better camera when I got the outdoors gig. The first job that I had it was a flounder store in Rockport. And they sent a photographer with me, but I kept him there most of the day. And they said, no.
You can't do that. We
no,
can't,
no.
yeah.
Here's a camera.
Yeah.
So I worked out okay, though. But I always thank George Gongorda, one of the better photographers at the paper for
Yeah.
30 years or
Yeah.
so.
Now, David, I was thinking, didn't Buddy have a 4-wheel drive vehicle?
Oh, I inherited that.
Okay, but then after that, it seems like you were without 4-wheel drive, and it's like, how can you have an outdoors guy be without a 4-wheel drive? How do you get in these fields?
Right?
Well,
You
I-
drive
down the
up in your
beach.
Prius and
So
do a lot of
after
walking.
After about a year and a half or 2 years or so, the paper was sold from Hart Hanks to Gannett, I think. Scripps.
Scripps, yeah.
At the time. And someone up there decided that I didn't need a 4-wheel drive pickup truck. So I negotiated, because that was a huge part of my salary. I mean,
Yeah.
huge, but I didn't have to drive my own pickup at all. They wanted me to be at every boat ramp showing that I'm
yeah.
out there,
Yeah.
And if it had needed repairs, there was a garage about a block away from the Caller Times. I just pull it in there, walk back to the office, and
So what
you know.
were some of the more ridiculous assignments they had you on?
well, it's for the columnist position.
Yeah.
Oh no, they did not dictate anything to me about
Okay.
that. I had complete free reign. On
Okay,
that.
that's
That's
good.
amazing.
So it wasn't
'Cause-
like, someone came up with the idea. It's like, hey, let's go, send them off to an anchovy farm. And you're like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, or go check on the orcas up in the Washington area, where
Yeah.
impact on the salmon or something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
that'd have
Which
been
was-
fun.
Which was would have been not interesting to the readers down here,
Here,
but
right.
That would be
which,
me.
by the way, was the topic of the first column after I left. They got it off the AP.
Oh,
Okay,
right,
yeah.
because
They
once
just
they
grabbed
once
Put
you
it on
left.
there. You can't believe how many emails and calls I got from
Oh,
people
I bet.
going, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Now, did you retire or did they?
I got a
budget?
buyout. I took a buyout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were.
They were dropping
newspaper
off
in
people.
general. They're
Yeah.
losing.
I got out
yeah.
at the right time. It was
Yeah.
a tough
Okay.
decision. Golly, what a sweet gig.
Right.
I didn't want to do anything else, and I was only like 62 or
Yeah.
63 or so at the time.
That's
I thought,
young- that's
I could
really,
do this till
really
I'm
young.
70 easily.
Yeah.
But
It was a blow to me, I know, because I lost all my free trips.
yeah,
Yeah.
I did share the wealth a little bit.
We had,
Nice.
we've been on a lot of trips together, so we had a good time doing that.
Well, I got
Nice.
to go to Mexico and Costa Rica and Nicaragua of all places.
And now they've got the paper has a USA Today bent on it, and so we're catching a lot of walleye and muskellunge
That's
over
right,
here.
that's
The,
right.
the forecast
Yeah.
looks good for that, and it's like
no longer
who's that
locally
for?
relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the second to last outdoor writer full time for
Yeah.
daily newspapers in Texas. My friend
wow.
at the Chronicle, Shannon Tompkins, was the final one, and about a year later.
Wow.
And now there's none. I mean, all the guys from Awesome American Statesman,
That's
Fort Worth
crazy.
Star Telegram, all of them. There's
The-
no outdoor writer in Texas. That's ridiculous.
No, that's crazy. The good news is that you still are out there almost every day taking pictures of
Yeah.
everything that we love down here, and we still get to benefit from that, even
Yeah,
if it's
you
not.
just don't get paid
even if it's
anymore.
not, you don't get paid, and it's
Yeah.
not through the
Yeah.
Caller Times, but we do still get to benefit from your talent and
It's
your
an obsession.
time.
It's having a columnist and that feedback with readership.
Yeah.
Unless you're a political columnist, then the
Yeah.
feedback may not be what you want. But in my case,
Yeah.
except maybe around the trout wars and stuff like that.
oh boy, we had that.
I
didn't we?
still get people calling me or
And the
emailing
snapper
me and
wars
saying,
and
"What
everything
the
else."
heck is the
Yeah.
deal with the trout?" I'm like, Not my
Well,
job. Not my job anymore.
I'll tell you what. One of the things that we are going to do is spend a little time once we get back after our break for KRIS News here on 1440 and 98.7. We're going to talk more with David Sykes. I want to hit you up about the kind of the evolution of the Corpus Christi sportsman through your time, and
that's a
then
good
kind of
question.
coming
Yeah.
up to this.
That's a great question.
So again, we will talk to you guys here in a little bit. We will see you after the news. And for people hanging out on Island Moon Live, everybody hold fast. We shall return.
I can roll and tumble. I can boom, boom, boom. I can quit most babies, but I can't quit you. Oh, you woman, you know it's true. You gave me 6 brand new strings to sing the blues.
Yeah.
It's a good project because I can discharge. You got to treat the water. So I'm not taking water from any farmers or any homesteaders. They're not around there, but if they were, I would be taking the water because we're going below it and taking the bracket water that no one can use, and then cleaning it. And I can discharge in the Oasis River, that 11 miles of stagnant, crappy fish kill area. It'll actually improve that water by pushing some of that stuff out.
All
With
right.
the higher quality water going than what exists right now.
Thank you for sticking around
That's what
on
we're-
Island Moon Live on YouTube. Going to, let's see. We're good. We're still on commercial break, so
Okay.
I'm going to do a quick test to make sure audio is set for the second segment. All right. Okay. First segment for second hour, 11 minutes and 30 seconds. You guys about ready?
I'm ready.
Everybody in YouTube land ready? All right. We're going
They got their coffee.
to dive right on in. And welcome aboard. This is Island Moon Live, where we talk about things going on Padre Island, Port Aransas, Flower Bluff, and the Coastal Bend as a whole. Dr. Brian Gully, Debbie Noble, David Sykes, Tyler Thorson. My name is Jacob Oggs. We are glad you're joining us. And again, if you want to go back and watch this episode or listen to little bits and snippets, you want to hear more about David, you can just go to Island Moon Live on YouTube and watch the episode. And there's even a Dan Harrington sighting in here. How about that? Awesome. Well, so David, before we went to break, I kind of asked you about, through your kind of work and experience.
There's another.
Give us a quick kind of thought on the evolution of the sportsman in Corpus Christi since your time, starting with the Caller Times, and then, of course, still an avid outdoor photographer, writer, and columnist, but.
Right. I'm an avid photographer. I don't do writing is hard.
Yeah.
You have to be so correct and
But you-
grammatically proper.
Well, let's say that writing well is hard.
Yes,
That's
true.
Yeah, writing is easy. Writing
Well,
well is hard.
that was a good experience because I was editing Saltwater Angler for I don't know, a year or so after I left the paper, and anybody who's ever read Tom Nix's old magazine knows that it's written mostly by fishing guides and people, just kayak fishermen and stuff like that, and
Normal people.
they needed a little cleaning up,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So I still do it for one man.
Oh,
And I
really?
think most
You
of
still do a
most
little
of you
editing
go
for one guy.
and he pays me in fish fillets.
Okay, there you go.
I want your money.
Nice.
I will. He has an offshore boat and he fishes the beach a lot, so
Yeah.
he always delivers
We'll
too.
we'll
delivers
edit
to the
for
house.
fish.
The Island Moon has a similar setup like that with Joey Farah. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. But, editing and kind of proofing his articles are always hilarious because sometimes people are reading, they don't understand what, fishing terminology and stuff that he's talking about. People don't know what a a lot of people don't know what a Mansfield Mauler is.
Yeah.
So it's
Or
like,
they talk about shooting dolphins.
yeah, exactly. Or they talk about shooting dolphins. Like, no, with a camera.
Well, here's an indication. Joey was one of the people that I edited in Saltwater Angler.
Yeah.
And he was probably the best writer among
One of-
them.
Yeah. That's
So
funny.
to your
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
Yeah.
give you a little idea of
Yeah.
what my job was.
Well, I'd like to say something to you, David, because I think you underestimate your ability as a photographer. Because I want to thank you for the picture you sent me one time of the birds flying across the sunset right up across from my house.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing picture. I mean, it was an amazing photograph. So thank you.
I always
for that.
have a pretty good shot of your estate
Yeah.
from Packard Channel's on road area shooting that way.
Yep.
And I sent it to your wife. I
Yeah,
thought she
no,
was
it's
going to
very-
print it.
Yeah,
But,
It's
So
very
did,
nice.
did
yeah.
you ever take any photography classes since you
No,
came out accidentally? So you've just self-taught yourself
yeah,
slowly.
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I know it all, but I know how to work around it all.
But you know what? We don't need to know that. All we do is we go to Evoke Studio and Gifts, where a lot of your work is, and you can go see a ton of his beautiful, beautiful birds and the coyotes. You make the coyotes look attractive.
They are.
You know, that's so strange. The coyote, you know, when you post something on Facebook, a lot of these haters come out, you know, about the coyotes, you know, and I defend them, but
Yeah,
I also
they're-
try to
they're
show
part
that
of-
they're beautiful animals.
They absolutely are.
They're a noble animal. Billy Sandifer, God's dogs, you know. That one
God's
big
dogs.
female on top of the dunes,
Yeah,
I've sold more of that print than anything else.
really.
Yeah, people don't buy bird pictures that much unless they know what it is.
Unless
And
they-
most of
yeah.
the birds I can shoot, nobody knows what they
Yeah,
are.
it's some kind of warbler.
I actually was at Evoke talking to Melissa one day, not in the fairly recently, and some people came in specifically looking for one of your like specific bird that you had photographed,
Oh,
and
really?
they found it and they bought it and they were so happy.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah.
We have a great relationship with the gallery, and
Yes.
Melissa's doing a wonderful job.
No, she is.
Gosh, I have a lot of respect for her. She's
Oh, my
so,
gosh, she
so
does.
charming and enterprising, and you know,
And talented.
She does a lot of different things well.
She really does.
One of them is writing.
And one of them is writing. No, I have said that too, because not everybody, as you said before, not everybody writes well. And
Yeah.
she is one of those people. She writes very well
She does
on
she
her
does.
own without AI. Just
I mean,
to be
and
clear,
she was a nurse for years, and
Yep.
then she had, you know,
she was like
another business.
She was like dog.
Yeah,
dog
and which
daycare,
I think
yeah.
her son does that now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
she's a great asset to the island. I'll tell you
She
that.
is. And just so people are clear, we're talking about Evoke Studio and Gifts, which is run by Melissa Mitchell, who's an artist in her own right, and
And,
it is
uh,
in the Compass Plaza right by
Yes,
Island
and
Moon.
Right by
a
door,
columnist for the Island
And a
Moon. If you
columnist
want
for
to,
Island
if you
Moon.
want to read her column, you can just go to islandmoon.com, where issue 1153 was posted, and should be hitting the shelves today. And Dale Rankin, I believe, is listening to the show right now, and he's on his way back with a truck full of papers.
Wait, we need to say a bunch of things to make him mad when he gets
No,
here.
I got a
he's not here
question
to
for
correct
you,
us.
David. I was talking with Jim Lavelle. He said he went to high school with you, and he says, out of some reason, there were 3 outdoor columnists that came out of that high school with like boom, boom,
Really?
boom. Yes,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Him,
Robert
Doug-
Sloan and Doug Pike.
Pike.
Doug Pike and I graduated together from Sharpstown High School, which is, I don't know if Sharpstown is still there, but it
It
used to be a
is.
nice high
This-
school.
my
Nice.
aunt still lives there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I thought
Small
that was
world.
interesting that you would have that many
Yeah.
well-known in one high school, especially at that time. Did you have English teachers that were inspired you, or some kind of teacher?
I
that-
did,
Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds like-
My English teacher, and then an English teacher in college at University of Houston said, "This is not a compliment. You write like a journalist." This is an English literature class, you know.
Oh yeah.
We need more than just who, what, when, where.
But
how.
you're supposed to write like a journalist because you write differently for TV and you different for
Yeah.
newspaper and for radio.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You don't use the proper up yours on and the horse on which you came.
Yes.
Was it? Yeah.
So I'm sure Tyler really wants to know, what's your stance on the Oxford comma?
Ooh, good question.
I've actually reposted that before, and I've started doing it. I've started actually putting it before.
Yes.
But you know,
It
every
serves a-
English teacher in the world, it even autocorrect. They don't.
Yeah,
I'm-
it's like
I'm a
it's like
fan.
Pluto.
I'm a fan,
you know,
too.
Like all of
Because
a
if you
sudden,
don't
it wasn't
use
a
it-
thing.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
If you don't
Well,
use it, it can be confusing.
Well, I wish Gully was still here, because I was going to say, when I was in school, they said the past tense of dive is dived. Nobody says dive. They
Nobody
all
says
use the
dive.
word that's
Dove.
already taken by a bird called a dove.
Dove. Oh, right.
We
Yes.
dove.
We dove. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they let it go. I mean,
It's
I
like
think
nuclear.
The Webster's is like
Yeah.
number
Yes.
5 on the list of preferred definitions. But
Yeah.
once you do something wrong in the English language long enough, they
Yep.
accept it.
They do.
accept it.
They do.
They give in.
Yeah.
Like
People
ending
just
sentences
they
with
crater.
prepositions.
yes, or axing questions. It's just one of those things that's just now you get tired of people saying it enough, and you just let it go.
I
And after
started to
that-
do that because somebody said something. Oh, you're notorious or infamous,
Oh, yeah.
and I said, no, Jesse James was infamous.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yes.
I hope not.
Yes.
And you
Yeah.
hope you're not notorious. I
For
know.
someone who shoots a lot of birds, they all live.
They do.
It's like
not all
he's
the
up
time.
hunting. Yeah.
So do all? I know we had that huge bird fallout a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now these little storms, are they giving us any more? Are they like mini fallouts?
I think they're
or-
stalling it out probably.
Yeah.
A lot of the same birds have been at the birding center in Port Aransas for about 2 weeks since then.
Really?
There's
They're
not
just
as many
resting and
of them,
recovering?
But, if it's sunshiny at 8 p.m.,
Yeah.
they only fly at night. The little ones only fly at night.
Oh, okay.
Because of the falcons rule the day. So
That makes sense.
if they get up in the air and they start going and they're going a couple of hundred miles and it starts to rain, they're coming down wherever they are.
Gotcha.
The ones from South and Central America may
Right.
drop down here. I haven't really
Yeah.
noticed a lot of new birds.
Okay. Because
but-
we've had a lot of nights of storms, so I was curious.
Yeah, we have, and it's hard on those birds. I mean,
Yeah.
they got 20, anywhere from 2,000 to, in some cases, 4,000 or 5,000.
That was a great
Miles,
fallout
yeah.
that one day. I
that was
walked.
insane.
One of my favorite places to go is the Oso Bay Wetlands Preserve.
Yeah.
I walked out there. I was on that path for 2 seconds, and 2 painted buntings came right across.
right
I was like,
across.
"Whoa, this is going to be a good one." And I
They're
know,
still there though. But
I
Yeah.
know. David's. This is give you your cheat. If it's been really dry, you go to the waterfall and just sit.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And you'll find
Because
all
they
the guys.
want the
Hey, they
water.
all need water.
Yeah,
During
yeah.
that fallout, I was meeting a friend of mine, Diana, over at the Packery Channel Park, and I saw you looking at birds like from a distance, and I got a picture of you in there pointing at things for somebody.
I saw that. Yeah.
And if you,
Although I didn't get a chance
speaking
to
of
say hi.
places to spot really awesome birds, if you get a chance to get inside an oak motte, and not trespassing, by the way, don't go trespassing or chasing
Just to be
waterfalls.
clear.
But I digress. No, if you get a chance to get inside an oak motte, there used to be one right next to Dr. Gully's house. That was just massive. I
It
think
was nice.
That was tragic
I
when they
missed
tore
that.
that
Yeah,
I
but
missed that.
get in there and just sit down and be still for a little bit.
Right.
Don't look around on your phone. Stop scrolling. Put it down and just listen and
Is it
observe
gone?
the birds. It's so cool.
Gone.
It's-
Well, if you have
All
the Merlin,
gone.
if you
What
have the
happened to
Merlin
it?
app on your
I'll tell you in a
phone,
minute.
you can press the sound thing, and it'll detect all the bird sounds
Yeah,
and
Merlin.
identify them for you.
Yeah.
So you know what's there.
and then you know
Merlin's
what
not
to
100% right.
No, but then you know what to look for. Like,
Sometimes
those
mockingbirds.
mockingbirds.
They'll throw it
Oh,
off.
I
Well,
think it's a
that's true.
mockingbird.
That's true. Yeah.
Let me tell you what happened at that place, because David used to be over there all the time. I'd see him
Yeah.
looking at those birds, and that was one of the most attractive things about my my area I lived in. We'd have between 100 and 200 of those snowy egrets would come in and roost every night, and they would fly over my house. And like they sometimes emergency landings on planes, they'll drop their load
Yeah.
on my driveway, lighten their load for landing, and they'll come and land in that big oak motte. And they don't like each other that much, so they keep separated. So it made a real stark picture because of all these 200 birds and it separated. Every once in a while, a blue heron would come in, and they didn't like that at all. They would raise all kinds of hell, and they didn't like other birds getting too close to them. But it was quite a sight to see. And what was tragic is I came home one day. Someone had bought that property, and I came home and they'd bulldozed all those beautiful oak trees.
Will you
The whole
tell
thing.
tell
Really,
people
I
what an oak
photographed
motte
some of that.
is?
And what was really, I was talking to the guy on the bulldozer operator. I said, "Oh my God, what did y'all do here?" You know. And as I was standing there, it was the evening. The birds were coming in over around by my house, and they would almost run into each other, and it was very, very tragic. And they were looking like, "Wait a minute, we've been roosting here our entire lives."
Well, hang on.
Where's-
We
where-
promise the story gets better. We're going to take a quick commercial break and
doesn't
we will be
get better,
back.
Robert, it's
Everybody
out.
hold fast.
It doesn't get better at all.
Beach in July. Calling all your girlfriends. Surface up this weekend, starting with a bonfire tonight. My dog is getting lazy. All these beaches crazy. Thanks to that tequila and lime. Tequila.
Trees and stuff like that. And I just thought, I wonder how Brian likes that.
Yeah,
You
not.
know, your new neighbor is.
then the guy finds out 2 days later he's got terminal brain cancer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
Oh,
He was a farmer, like from
that's-
Poteet or something like that, wasn't he?
That's even worse.
Well, I understand that he came around and talked to some of the neighbors. That you told me that.
And I said, "Can't you?"
And then they have to do a tree, and they'll let you cut some down, but you've got to plant others elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the mitigation things, but
Yeah.
that doesn't work that well.
No, it doesn't.
No, that's not the same, but
It's owned by the Audubon Society.
no, it is. I love that about your
They
neighborhood.
couldn't even help. I called them
Yeah.
and said, "What do you think we can do?"
They're like, no,
Yeah,
that's
that.
brilliant. No, I
That's
love
sad.
your neighborhood is great bird.
I remember seeing those sitting like that. It looked like the oak motte got teepeed.
Yeah.
Well, I've been in there.
And
recently.
most of those are great
but I haven't
egrets,
gone
but
over behind your-
they never roosted. I mean, they never nested there. And I don't know why. I mean, they
Yeah, I
nest in
haven't been there in a
Rockport.
while.
I have so much fun at
That's
those
sad.
wetlands. About every other time I see a big rattlesnake, and it's like,
Oh, yeah, I don't want to see that.
Well,
No, I-
there's one that sits on one of the flat rocks at the water feature.
Oh, right where you
And
want to be sitting and watching.
I saw
Bring
him
your
miss,
zo-
miss a painted bunny one time,
Yeah.
but a friend of mine got
Ooh.
a photo of it. It was
that'd
eating
be
a male
awesome.
painted bunny.
Oh,
And he
no.
was-
A beautiful
And he
one,
got
yeah.
it. Oh.
Yeah. I'm like, couldn't you got a grackle?
Well, yeah.
yeah, please.
A mourning dove.
A starling, some kind of feral
Something.
animal.
Yeah, they
Oh
got
my
cowbirds
gosh.
that come to that water too. So
Yeah, they
Yeah.
need dining. All I do is they lay their egg in another bird's nest, and they kicks the other one out, and they raise them on their own bird. It's like
Who does that? A
Cowbird.
Cowbirds,
I got a picture of a cowbird at the Botanical Gardens the other day. I did learn the difference. They look just like grackles, but they have yellow eyes, red eyes. Which one? Now I
well, the
forget
red
which
eyes is
which.
the bronze cowbird. The other
Yeah.
one doesn't have
Oh,
pretty
okay.
eyes. But I have seen a male cardinal at the Oso.
Yeah.
It was feeding a fledgling cowbird.
Oh, really?
I'd never seen that before.
oh, that's
It
horrible.
had hatched in its nest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, because they put.
Papa,
Yeah.
Papa takes care of their chicks just like
Just,
they're
yeah.
kind of ugly, but you know,
Well, you're not red like you
Gotta
should
love them
be.
anyway.
yeah, really, I'll feed you, I guess. You
It's
know?
like the ugly duckling becoming a swan.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
is.
Uh,
And they're vilified by the public. too, because of
segment
it.
2, 10 minutes.
Oh,
You guys
catbirds.
about
Yeah.
ready?
Free will.
Cowbirds.
He's back to the cliffhanger again.
Yes, exactly.
So
So we got here.
the demise of the oak motte.
Yeah, that was sad. There is
Thank you, tequila. Man, I thought I'd seen it all and heard it all before, but I've never seen so many topless girls on 4x4s. It's a South Texas paradise. Wish I had a pair of lives. I would party sunrise.
It's Island Moon Live. Welcome back. My name is Jacob Oggs, Debbie Noble, Dr. Brian Gully, Dan Harrington, David Sykes, and Tyler CorpusFishing.com himself, Thorson. We are glad you're joining us. We're having a little kind of walk down memory lane about the oak motte that was a kind of a awesome bird habitat that was on the island. And that got, it was right next to Dr. Gully's house, and it got torn down. But good news, Dr. Gully, coming in right around the corner from your place, the updates to Packery Channel Park, which will have a free fishing pier that will be open during the day. There will be no lights on it, and the park closes at night, so don't get stuck out there or be
Who's
good
gonna-
at fishing
and no
so you
drilling
can
holes in
survive.
the pier.
They're putting in another some more trees and bushes and other habitat for the migratory
The
birds.
boardwalk's going to go all the way to the
It
water
is.
and surround that area, and
gonna be-
they're planting all the native trees and plants
They
right
just
now.
pulled out all the the pepper plant, Brazilian pepper plants.
Yeah, that's
They
going to
had-
be an ongoing effort.
Yes.
But
But you can see they pulled out a lot of things, and they were planning to put in a whole bunch
They're
of.
working pretty
See,
hard.
I told you this to turn into a happy story, you know, and it's always good. You
It
know,
doesn't look
I was
happy.
looking at my old truck earlier, and I was like, man, I think it's about time to go ahead and get into something newer and shinier. And I need to go talk to my buddy Frank at Discount Motor Company. He's right there off of 6601 SPID. They're right across from CarMax, and they'll give you $500 more than CarMax. They don't have all that big overhead, and you can actually get in there and talk to someone who really can, wants to buy your car. Go talk to Frank. Don't talk to someone who has to go talk to their manager and all that other stuff. You can just go to discountmotorcompany.com and check their active inventory. See what they've got. If it's time to get that new F-250, get that 4x4, you need fleet vehicles, he can help you out there. He's right there on SPID, right between Turner's and the movie theater. So go see Frank and tell him you heard about it on Island Moon Live.
Frank and his wife Laura are about to have another baby.
They are. Congratulations,
I didn't know
guys.
that.
Nice.
And she is an amazing concert pianist who's played at Carnegie.
Oh,
Right.
really?
Yes, yeah, that's
And then
Nice.
Laura, her aunt Liz, that lives around the corner from me, also has played at Carnegie as well as their daughter. And there's a
Oh,
bunch
wow.
of yeah. Wow.
That's impressive. We got some pretty impressive Islanders out here. One of them being David Sykes. So just to kind of touch back on the question that I asked earlier, what's the biggest thing the first few things that pop in your mind? How have sportsmen down here changed in the last 20 to 30 years?
Well, at first, all of the outdoor riders were just hook and bullet riders. It was hunting or fishing, no deviation from that, pretty much. And I noticed, and I know Tyler walked with me this path, when the conservation mindset, thanks to groups like CCA and SEA, they kind of changed a little bit. It wasn't all a meat hall mentality anymore, and that some of the guides even were saying before they even left the dock, said, "Okay, guys, you guys want to keep some fish today?" I go, well, "Yeah, we'll keep some." You know, well, okay. Does everyone want to keep fish? You know, because the limit was not the limit. It was the goal.
Yeah.
Instead,
Oh, right,
well,
right,
now
right.
the
Now
lit
it's-
is not the goal necessarily.
I like that.
I tell him, you know, you can't weigh entertainment or enjoyment by the pound of fillets. You know, I mean, the experience. I mean, that's what fly fishermen,
Yes.
bass fishermen.
If you're-
more sophisticated bass fishermen, been doing catch and release for 50 years.
Yeah, and if you're trying to put a numerical value on that red snapper,
no.
yeah,
Per pound?
or deer meat. Look at how much it costs for a new a new side by side
Oh, the
deer
lease?
stands, the lease itself, getting to and from, all that beer you have to drink. I mean, no, that adds up. That adds up.
No, we
I've
would go
done
down-
that math,
Like,
and
you go
don't
down the
tell
beach.
Lauren.
You
Yes.
go down the beach. It's like, well, you're going. It's a 160-mile round trip, and you come back and you like, well, we caught 5 whiting. I was like, well, wow, what is that per pound?
Yeah, exactly.
Or per mile.
Or nothing.
But that's a great, interesting kind of observation. Is seeing
I
as
like
how the part of conservation has really started playing into kind of the sportsman's attitude and everything. And now I think social media is a big thing. It lets you brag almost immediately and then release the fish.
That's true. That's
Well,
true.
yeah, it also could be a great tool of the game wardens too.
Oh, yeah.
The idiots that pose in
Yep.
their front yard with a 38-inch.
Yeah, they say I released this.
And
It's
they go,
like,
yeah, release it.
really?
I don't think so. It's sitting on the bed of your pickup.
That's
you know.
too funny. Yep. Mr. Green Jeans watches the internet. I'm just letting everybody out there know that.
How expensive you think a quail is per pound?
Oh,
Oh
man.
my God!
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, but fishing in general, though, I mean, catch and release is kind of the mantra nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're, the old school guys like we only fish once a year. We come down from Lubbock, and I understand why they want to keep some fish because they don't have access. Like
Right, they're gonna
if we
freeze
keep,
it all.
we live here, we keep one fish a week. That's 52 a year, and
That's a
they
lot.
want to keep 25. So it's
Right.
I get that part.
Yeah, and I made that point in my column. I said, "Come on, don't vilify these people.
Yeah,
that
no,
come
they-
down from Dallas because
Right.
they want to eat something besides catfish."
Yeah, I mean, I'll go up to the lakes in Central Texas or Lake Mathis when it fills up again and go catch crappie. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing better
You
than
know,
that.
what's hard to do for me is you catch a 50-pound swordfish and you let it go. It's just hard because that's a lot of good swordfish.
Do they? Can they survive the depth
If
change?
it was been 70, I'd have kept it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like you'd say Billy used to Sanford used to like, Tyler, we're not keeping anything over 24. That was when that was still like, and I mean, okay, all right, Billy, and he's like this beautiful fish. They're like, okay, we'll let it go. That's the way it was with him on a lot of stuff. But he went full circle on that because he talked with Roy Gator from Roy's Bait and Tackle. He sat there in the wintertime and he had like 2 fish that were over 10 and 3 or 4 that were 8 and 7 pounds, and then just laying there on the deck. They go, man, do I need all these things?
Right.
And it's
Right.
and you I guess it's like when you get older, you quit fishing for meat, and then you start fly fishing, and then you start writing about it. And then you start, our deer hunters, they go start taking pictures of them.
Well, years ago, I fished down there before you went to work there down the beach with Buddy Golf.
Mm-hmm.
And if I recall this right, I remember he didn't catch as many fish as us, but he smoked.
Yeah.
And when you're on the beach wade fishing, it's hard to keep a cigarette dry. and it takes both hands to fish sometimes.
That's why you can't drink beer when you're fishing for trout. I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard to do.
It's hard
Well,
to do.
and Billy used to tell me that Buddy would show up at the beach with a bag from Academy. That was his tackle box.
Right.
He loved changing lures. I mean, just constantly. And Billy just never could understand it. You use what I'm using, you know.
I was fishing next to Charlie Zahn.
Yeah.
Charlie Zahn used to fish this little sparkly green worm.
Green worm, yep.
And that's all he used.
Yeah.
And I pride myself as a pretty good fisherman. But I stood next to him, and he caught a limit of 10 trout before. And at number 6, I got one of his lures. And he still caught 4 more.
You know,
and got a
somebody
limit.
gave me about a 2-pound bag of those. I'm not sure what I did with them, but
Don't lose 'em, 'cause they
well,
work.
Charlie and I used
Because
to
apparently they
go
work.
on San Jose and
Right.
shoot either the jetty or down the beach, and
He
that's
did
all
the-
we
the-
use.
He did the long purple worm sometimes too in the wintertime.
Yeah, that's true. In the wintertime,
And I talked to Charlie. He says, my kids won't let me now. I'm banned from going on the rock, climbing on the rocks. But he's a good fisherman.
He had every little spot.
Oh
you know,
yeah, and
I-
he knew
Oh,
all
he,
the
he knew those jetties. Years ago, we also went down Matamoros and went across those different cuts. and Charlie and a bunch of people, and they were all big artificial guys. And I was any way you can catch a fish guy.
Bait
So we weren't catching fish, fishing and surf. And I finally said enough of this, and I got a cast net, went across the dunes and caught some little fingerling mullet, put in my deal, and was wading behind with a box behind me, and I started catching these big redfish. Well, everybody had given me trouble about it until I started catching those redfish. And then everybody's bumming live mullet fingerlings for me.
Yeah.
And then the weather was getting bad, and then finally someone came in and said, there's a big storm coming. I think it was Gilbert. And we're way, way down Mexico. And that hurricane's coming, and nobody knows. Nobody
Yeah.
knows days, you know. And we barely got out of there. Tide started coming up. We barely got across those passes.
Wow.
Gilbert was huge in the Gulf too. I remember that's the one that canceled the Simon and Garfunkel concert in San Antonio or something. It was like it literally filled up the Gulf.
I mean, it's hard to believe in those days we didn't have communication. And that was 30 years ago.
Yeah,
Now
but-
you're going to
yeah.
know. Everybody's going to know.
Well, we didn't have cell phones.
Starlink opened the whole world up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was in a meeting, EDC meeting, on Zoom in the middle of the most barren part of Zimbabwe. And a guy had one on his hood of his truck.
Of course you were.
And I got in on the Zoom meeting.
Hey Brian, there's a lion behind you. You might want to watch out.
As
Get
one
the
does.
selfie.
And I was the chairman. I felt like they needed me, so here I
Well,
was.
you had to. Yeah, good for you.
That's too funny. Excellent. We're gonna hear more of this shortly. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we shall return. Keep it on Island Time. Everybody, hold fast.
So when the time is right, slice the lime.
We got a little window coming up here, guys. Stand
Yeah.
by. You know, I,
better take a run for it.
yeah. Oh, better go this way, not
It's
that
the
way.
first time I ever saw somebody looking at the weather app
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
their phone on their sailboat, and I'm like, you can see the weather right
I
there?
know, you can see the weather. It is crazy.
Didn't have that.
The storm where I almost died and you almost died. I almost died. The Rockport,
Yeah.
Was that kayak tournament,
I'll
right?
never follow you in a kayak again.
Yeah.
that was horrible, wasn't it?
It was. It was.
And then, do you remember when I got pitched into the water when we got rescued? That was the worst part. We got rescued
I
by
enjoyed that part.
This yeah. You were sitting there eating a hamburger over there at what was it, Cove Harbor?
Yeah, Cove Harbor.
We were at Cove Harbor. We came back and literally we were sitting there in 60 mile-an-hour winds and lightning for over an hour, couple hours, and it was like 60 degrees and windy and wet. And so
Oh, man.
we were just out there in just Magellan shirts and,
Yeah.
and waders. So they hunker down and they bring me back. We find like, oh my God, we're safe. He had 9 people, game warden on a Maui. We're on the front. Pitched all of us with his backwash, all of us into the middle of the harbor. And I was like,
So everybody could see.
yeah. And then,
Oh, man.
so I go home. I was like, oh, thank God, Lord. And my transmission went bad.
Oh no.
Oh no.
But I didn't die.
And you remember the
But
guy,
you're
that was that
still here.
Hummingbird guy that sponsored that tournament. It was the early days of kayak
Yeah, that's when
tournaments.
we got a free pair of Crocs. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah, yeah. And he asked
A
me, "You gonna
free
write
pair
about
of
this?" And I said, "You don't want me to write about
No,
this."
You don't
that was
want me to
horrible.
write about
I mean,
this.
we all thought.
Well, you and I,
though,
We thought we were gonna
we
die.
had a
so.
conversation. The storm's not going to hit until
No, and
afternoon.
we were watching the tower in Rockport, and you were watching. It's like, well, we'll see that. What happened was that it had straight line winds before the storms came, and that's what got us. It knocked us down.
I tried wading all the way from the backside to, and I had to stop at the channel. Of course.
I would have died because I didn't know where I was.
I thought he was nearby, but it was so rainy and windy, and
I tried
couldn't
crawling
tell.
back, and literally, got Ruben and his wife. They pulled me up because I think I might have drowned.
Oh,
I mean,
that's,
it was-
I might have
that's
drowned, too.
terrifying.
Because it was mucky muck. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
and we had waders, but they were filling up with water.
Yeah,
they
so
spent
I had
heavy-
to try to
then they're even
remove them
heavier.
and hold
that's
on
the
to my
scariest I've
kayak
been
and at the
ever.
same time
And we
in
knew,
waist
we
deep
knew what we
water.
were doing. We knew there was a storm coming, and we still did it. Man, we're like, we were only a mile away from the.
That's right. You know,
You go when
You take chances because
Have you ever been offshore anywhere when you got that downdraft in July? One time we got down about 45 degrees and the wind just comes with a blowing storm and then it gets super cold. Right in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
Of course, you're in nothing but a
I've been
bathing
in
suit,
Baffin
right?
when that's
And it's
happened.
blowing, the wind chills ungodly.
I've been when we had water spouts popping up offshore. That was great.
July.
Yeah.
And it goes from like calm to 6 to 8 footers. Like, oh, that was fun.
Yeah, I'm
I went out with Billy in his Ponga boat. Me and Curtis Katz, I think, went out there, and we got it 5 miles out. We're just going to go do the short rigs or something like that. And that storm hit, and I have so much respect for him. Billy is a boatsman. I mean, he got us back, but
Not driving a Suburban, but a boat.
every time, man. Yes. Me and Curtis looked at each other. We're just kind of just huddled, near the stern, and Billy never stopped. We didn't catch anything either.
What makes it worse? Yeah.
Boy, he spent so much money on that poor Ponga. It's like
Yeah, beautiful boat.
for a free
Impractical
boat.
as hell.
Segment 3. Now we're just a good thing I recorded all that, so we'll just play that right back.
Yeah.
That's,
The radio station story.
11 minutes 30 seconds. Where do y'all want to go?
We need to get. It's not the last one. We got to get Dan in there too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he's talking about sailing and why I hate sailboats because it's hard to fish off of them.
Not if you're trolling.
I know,
you're
but you-
on the perfect speed.
But you're trolling, but you're going like this,
Well,
and if
that's
something
right.
bites, you got to
There's a
turn.
guy along the
Aren't
beach
they
and he
just
caught a
a-
sailfish out of his.
It's hard to back down. It's hard to back down. on
Aren't
some
they just a
billfish.
hole in the water into which you throw money?
Yes.
Oh, 100%. That's any boat, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is a little more so, I think, sometimes on a sailboat.
Sailboat,
All
even more
right.
than that. You sail on Wednesday nights sometimes, don't you?
Most Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
I went to the meeting,
Oh, the
over
meeting
at
last
the
night,
seawall
yeah.
yesterday, but
Yeah.
I grumbled about it
Yeah.
as I went.
Okay, here we go.
Feeling alright. Pour yourself a shot of Mexico and grab a lime. Here's to that tequila and lime. Thank you, tequila.
Those are some words that I probably never say. Thank you,
grab some
tequila.
tequila.
That's yeah. Interesting lyrics there from our friends at Trip Tonight. This is Island Moon Live. My name is Jacob Oggs. We've got Tyler Thorson, David Sykes, Dan Harrington, Dr. Brian Gully, and Debbie Noble. We are glad you're with us. We talk about things going on in Corpus Christi, Padre Island, Flower Bluff, and the Coastal Bend. And talked to Dan last night about the regatta downtown. You missed it. You're usually sailing on Wednesdays.
Yeah, we try to get out there most Wednesday nights, and it's one of the longest ongoing continuous regattas.
Yeah.
So it's every Wednesday night.
It's great
out
because
of-
we have the farmers market at the Art Center, and we get to watch it from there. We get to watch you guys going out and coming back in.
Yeah, it's when I first moved here, I didn't imagine that we would be sailing with inside the rocks, and so you have to
Yeah.
actually manage the getting
yeah,
out of the
to
gap
getting
and
out,
all
yeah.
that. So that was a little bit hairy the first few times as and then you've got guys like Fred Sword that will push you up at the rocks if you're in his way. So,
He's one of those like NASCAR drivers. It's
oh
not
yeah,
to
yeah, it's
Scrape them off. So what size boats do you sail?
Depends on who I'm sailing with. I've got a 40-foot Catalina, and that sounds like racing an RV, but it's. I like having, as I gotten older, cup holders and a
Yeah.
couple conveniences. But
Do you keep that downtown?
keep it downtown. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a little bit easier to say. I love having it out here on the island. We'll bring it to the house every now and then, but it's so easy to go sailing out of downtown.
Yeah.
But also race on a J80 often, which is if you get more of the race experience, you're going to get wet.
You always hear about Walter Cronkite was an excellent sailor, and he would sail into port on the East Coast. And can you imagine?
So I got a funny story about that. So I had a Cal 31, a 31-foot sailboat up on a lake in Northeast Texas for years, and we'd spend every single weekend. And I had, there's not many part stores for sailboats up there, so something on the engine went out, and I had to order a part. And I was trying to get back into slip, and the engine I had forgot I had ordered this part, and the engine wouldn't start. And my son, who's probably 6 at the time, and the engine wouldn't start, and I'm kind of in like, oh no, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? He's like, Dad, not right now, son. I'm thinking. Dad, not right now, son. Dad, it's a sailboat. Sail it.
Wow.
Oh, son.
At 6 years old.
At 6 years old. And he's like, you hush. Go sit down.
His name is Captain Obvious now.
So I actually got pretty good for that month or two I was waiting on that part of sailing it in and out of dock. I've had to do it here a few times, not on purpose, but because of things happen. And
Yep.
Well, they did it for 1,000 years. That's all
did
they
it.
had.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how handy you can get. I used Flower Bluff Sea Tow one time. We call it Flower Bluff Sea Tow. I went 6 miles down range in a Boston whaler with a buddy of mine, and the power pack went out. And I was like, I said, well, don't you have Seato? He goes, I just canceled the subscription last
Oh,
year. And I was
just-
like, so I took the Bimini top on the Montauk and sailed it back. We got back. We sailed 6 miles in about. I had it on my phone back when you had the GPS. I would get up to 4 miles an hour, and that was pretty good. And we sailed it back into Bluff Landing.
5.5 knots. That's
Yeah,
not too bad.
and I tell you what, it tracks pretty good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. But the sailing out there, do you have races? Do you have classes? Do you all go racing together? Or?
Yeah, so you've got multiple classes depending on the boats and depending on what the regatta is. So you either have just a regular race or a regatta, which is a series of races. I believe there's some the youths are having a big race here in the next week or so.
Is that the annual one?
They're coming down. Yeah, there's usually a national or worlds, and I apologize, I can't remember what this one is coming in, but there's a bunch of youth. They're bringing in, I believe it's lasers from all over the place.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
a boon to our economy because these people come out and they
Oh, yeah.
stay and they get to
They
experience.
eat and drink and
You need to get
shop
Shannon
and
Woodbush
sleep.
on, and she'll talk about that, and she'll tell you all about it. It's great to have it when the kids come in and sail.
It's
Oh, yeah.
it's incredible, and if you've ever, you generally will race around a course, and you've got the windward mark, which is the most towards the wind, and that's where you're tacking back and forth, and to see 20, 40, 50 boats at a mark, and they're all
Yeah.
following the rules to go. It's really incredible.
No, it
it's,
is.
It's much more fun to see it when you're
Than to be in it in the
the
middle of it.
watching,
Yeah.
than you're in the middle of
I love
it.
it.
You're
It's
hollering for
stressful.
room.
When
I've been
I,
out on some boats and taken pictures of that, and it really is beautiful to see.
When I first moved to Corpus, it just happened to be one of the years when they had the powerboat racing across the
Yeah.
bay.
Oh,
yeah.
And I'm
Okay.
driving down Ocean Drive, and then here comes this boat with a helicopter chasing it. I was just like, this city's so awesome. yeah. I'm used to helicopter
moved to
chases
Miami
and car
Vice.
chases in Houston, yeah, exactly. It was straight out of Miami Vice.
That was so cool when we had those things. I got to be at one of the turnboats. Bally sponsored us,
Yep.
and we were out there, and they furnished all the drinks and everything. It was great. We got to watch everybody else come around. But then when that guy got killed, who had a boat here, he was from Corpus area,
Oh,
and they
that
got
put a damper
Yeah,
on
that
that.
was
decapitated.
Oh,
That's a
that's
very dangerous sport. But
It
what
is.
a perfect place we have with this seawall
Yeah.
to sit on it and watch those things.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wish we could figure out somehow to get back on that circuit.
We had the Youth Worlds came here, I believe, in 2019, and
Yep,
we
I saw
had
that.
young kids, and they shipped their boats over from everywhere
Yep.
in shipping containers.
Yep.
But we had kids from the Royal London Yacht Club. We had people from Australia, all
Yep.
over the world,
Yep.
coming to race. And what we take for granted here, we have some of the most challenging sailing conditions of anywhere. So people really do want to come here and have a regatta because, you, like say, it's a great place to watch it. You can sit
Yeah.
and watch
We
it
got lots
right
of
from
room.
downtown, and we've got some of the best conditions right there.
Unless there's a race, then the wind's calm.
And that's exactly right.
Then you get the doldrums.
I covered that one, and I went and interviewed some of those kids.
Yeah.
Interesting bunch.
I once,
Interesting people.
Yeah.
I once watched a crab. We were, of course, in a race, so there was no wind down the Corpus Christi Bay.
Right.
And I watched a crab swim past us. And I thought, is there a point where it's time to retire the race where the crab is going faster than the boat?
That's always.
That's outstanding.
Like
So-
when they used to have kite festivals downtown, and it's so windy here all the time until you have a kite festival. And I was like taking all these angles of photos to try to make it look like there were more kites than there really were in the air.
So, Dan, yesterday you and I were talking about, speaking of other events and things, we were at the Seawall meeting talking about the kind of refinishing and the updates and things coming to the Seawall, and Padre Island Business Association's really involved with you guys trying to put up some kind of sign, or what is it you guys
Yeah.
have in mind?
So a few years ago, Stan came to this idea, Stan Hulse, with that all these places, these tourist places have, and he notated that the most photographed place in Corpus Christi, or at least on the island,
Yeah.
is the Shark.
Yeah.
Which is
Right.
great for them,
Right.
but that doesn't really speak to our community. And so he came up with this idea of put Padre Island,
Yep.
the big signs that you see that are 6 or 8 feet tall, and people take selfies with and family
Yeah.
photos when you go to Cozumel or South Padre.
Yeah.
And so we leased a small piece of grass right there by the parking lot on the seawall.
Yep.
For I think it's $1 a year. We've been leasing it for the last several years as we've worked through the engineering, and how we get anything done when it's this hard to put just a sign up is beyond me. But that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
But we've got it. We've got the plan, and of course, then with the seawall work that's slowed down, we're going to try to fit it in. So, but it would be a really Jennifer Seymour, I believe, worked with the design and the
Yeah.
painting of it. So it's a really great design. I think it speaks well to our community.
Yep. She does amazing work.
Visit Corpus Christi has been a big supporter of it, and they're
Yep.
on board and will hopefully help us with some of the funding. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great thing, and I think we will get there. It's just
Yeah.
it's just a slow process.
And you want a place that you can have the ocean in the background.
Absolutely.
You want to see the
Yeah.
beach. That's our big attraction. So
Absolutely.
these other venues like the Mermaid, which you see people all the time, that's a beautiful thing. People have their picture
Yeah,
taken.
it's a fun
but
place to
there's
do
no
it, but
parking
there's no-
there.
Yeah.
And,
no, you're like taking your life in your hands on
but
the
you need to
highway.
see the ocean. You need to see the beach in the background.
We initially wanted to put it right in the middle of the Whitecap Circle, but then we thought as kids are getting run over while people are trying to in and exit, that puts a damper on vacation.
I can see all those comments on Facebook.
Something needs to be in that on that kind of intersection at the middle of that circle. That's I think just it's wasted
yeah.
space right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Lately,
eventually
it's
something
been an
needs to be there.
Exercise place for the bicyclist woman who's always out there.
Yeah,
And she's
yeah.
stretching. She's out there every day.
We'll put a pickleball court out. That brings everybody out. That's the thing.
It's been a while since you mentioned pickleball.
Yes, I know. It's
America's fastest growing
David
sport.
Eckenrode is clapping for
He
me,
is.
whoever he is. Yeah,
There he
that's
is.
outstanding. Excellent. Well, any other
Well, I
fun
know
stuff going
Island-
on with PIBA right now?
You know, we've had a lot of changes in the last year. Stan Hull stepped down after 18 years, I believe, as
as long as
executive
I've been here,
director. And Stephanie Hesh has taken that role, and so I've jumped into the presidency. So we're lots of changes, lots of good stuff supporting the island. We'll go to D.C. along with the United Chamber
Yep.
here in the next few weeks, advocating for business on the island.
Yep. Our lunches are what, first Thursday?
First Thursday every month.
First Thursday every month, and coming up in June is Stephanie just told me now I can't remember.
I
Anyway,
can't
somebody
remember
good.
what I'm doing yesterday or
No,
tomorrow.
I know. I
or-
should know because I have to. I'm gonna look it up.
Father's Day, maybe? That's something good coming up.
That's something good coming.
Debbie, you're the queen of the events. You're supposed to
Yeah,
know
you're
these
supposed to
things.
know these
I
things.
know. I just don't remember the speaker. I know when it is. I just don't remember the speaker. There is a Margarita Fest downtown this Saturday at Bus.
Oh, sure,
We
you know
love
about the
Bus.
Margarita Fest.
So there's a Margarita Fest. So that's a fun
Didn't
thing to do.
forget that.
If I knew you were going there, I would have queued up tequila.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Right, that's right.
Who
That
knows
one,
wherever
that's
Margarita Fest is in the whole of South Texas.
Right.
But we do
That's
have
always
Memorial Day weekend, so we got to, I'm sure Dotson Lewis will tell us about some things going on downtown.
There's a fishing tournament coming up.
Yes.
Marker
Don't
37.
spill
with
all the
veteran-
beans.
with
When we get
veterans.
back,
Veterans.
Debbie Noble is going to talk about all the fun stuff going on this gorgeous holiday weekend that's fast approaching. Everybody, keep it tuned.
Yeah, I remember people used to
Look at
fish a
space
lot.
between meetings. I said, okay, those 3 days, and then not schedule anything to go to the ranch. But now,
try to keep my Wednesday
Stuff is
nights
mostly
open
like
for that
family
very
stuff,
reason.
so there's not a lot.
And stuff creeps in sometimes, but I try to keep at least a Wednesday night during the week available.
Yeah.
I've,
I went out once or twice with Huntress too. With
Chuck.
yeah, Chuck,
you know,
yes.
my sailing, I'm an offshore guy, powerboat guy, all my life. I had a 100-ton captain's life since 1973. But my claim to fame is that when I was early on in the yacht club, Jim Borden had won the big race or something, national race, and he was the commodore of the yacht club. We went together to Cancun, and they had a sunfish race for tourists, a regatta they called it. So you got 1 day to practice, and then the big race was on. Well, he had one that I had one.
Oh, it's
And
Whitecap.
he showed me how to sail this thing. I won the regatta and I beat it. And he claims I had it under advantage. I was much taller than him. I could lean way down, way.
You know, that helps.
And then way out on that thing.
It's Whitecap. That's the speaker in June. Is Whitecap.
Oh, okay. And we've got our fishing tournament coming up too.
That's in July.
In
right?
July.
Yeah, Hooked on Padres in July.
Anything you want to go with upcoming events?
Sure.
And then anything else we need to get to? Because it's about a 9-minute segment, but it'll go fast.
All right.
Anything else we need?
You got anything else?
Hook on Pottery in July.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all we got.
All right.
Still sitting on Bob Hall Pier and nursing this lukewarm beer. Just wondering how I landed here. Someone pinch me, I'm dreaming. Just take
Man, that makes me
We love Stevie Starr.
that makes me feel pretty good knowing that pretty soon we'll be able to be back out on Bob Hall Pier with a beverage of your choice.
They're going to close down for a while out at the Bob Hall Pier the Tuesday, if weather's right. Tuesday, I think, through Thursday to do some work on where they're doing pouring.
Oh,
cement.
yes.
Okay.
So
Yes,
that's-
they'll be working
Keep that
on
in mind.
Oh, the fishermen will be excited about that.
Oh, they're tearing it down, yeah.
That was one of the
Yeah.
things when they first started talking about, you remember this, the all the new rebuild and the potential for what could go in on Bob Hall. I thought they were going to do that with the seawall. People will be like, oh, we're going to have 87 sets of stairs and 2 stories. and
stories, you can have weddings
and
on
all
top of
this.
it.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. There's going to be all the, oh my gosh.
Thank you for your
Rod,
comment.
yes.
Yeah.
Not quite. not
Hand
quite.
out rod holders to everybody. Excellent. Well,
So if you want to do fun things this weekend besides going on Bob Hall Pier and going fishing, which is always a good option, although don't drill holes in the pier while you're doing that.
it's frowned upon.
And that's frowned upon. I know tonight the Candace Carden, who owns the Lego store here in town, she lives out here on the island. She's one of our Physicians Premier friends. She owns Mini Bricks and Minifigs, which is the Lego store. And they have a mom's night out thing going on tonight. We have a Lego store,
I
and it
didn't
is
know that.
no, and it is amazing. She actually buys used Legos, and they clean them all up and sell them. And you can. She even buys like the sculptures. You can go in there and just
Wow.
see these amazing works of art that people have made out
You
of
can go
Legos.
spread those on the floor so at night you can step on them barefoot.
Exactly.
Just like when your kids were growing up.
Now, if Dale were here, he'd tell me they could buy an ad. So, but I'm going to put that out because it's a Mother's Day event, a late Mother's Day event there tonight. You can go wine glass painting at Anchor tomorrow night. There's the Vetsin. It's a Veterans Association is having a fishing tournament at Market 37 on Saturday. So if you need a fishing outlet without just by yourself, you want to be with a whole bunch of people, you can go do that. Margarita Festival at Bus on Saturday. That's from like noon to midnight. You can go make cheese.
Really?
At Cabana Pantry. You know, Cabana Pantry has classes all the time. You can learn all about spices and cooking, and you can make mozzarella and ricotta cheese on Monday night, so that's exciting. We do have a turtle release coming up with the Sea Life Center, but it's not this Sunday. It's the 31st, the following Sunday.
That's the
11
injured
o'clock.
one. It's injured one. It's not the hatchling.
No, they're not the hatchlings. They're the big ones. The
Sea
ones
Life
that have
Center.
been cold stunned and taken care of or injured. And that's over by the Michael J. Ellis seawall that we've been talking about all morning. That's where we have those going on. And other than that, have a great Memorial Day with your family and be safe and go cook your hamburgers and have fun. That's what I got. That's what I got to do. I'm going to go to a Hooks game tonight. Anybody
Are you
else go to a
really?
Hooks game?
Do you think they'll
Assuming
make
it doesn't rain
out?
on
Yeah.
me. It's also Third Thursday at the Art Museum, and on Third Thursdays it's free to go in from like 5:30 to 9, and they have a whole bunch of additional programming. I think somebody's actually doing a cheese demonstration there, and actually, Allison Shooks. Do you know Allison? Who's a fine artist. She's one of the best painters in this area. She's going to be doing a live painting of Rich Lockhart, our musician who passed away a few months ago.
Oh, cool.
And he had been sitting for them. You know, Wednesday mornings they do the portrait morning, and you go sit there. I've done that. I don't know who else has done that. You sit there for a couple of hours, and they paint you all morning long. A whole bunch of people sit around and paint you, which is hysterical.
Oggs did that at Life Drawing, I think. Didn't you
Yes.
have
Yeah.
students to do that?
I used to teach.
But she,
Yeah.
but she sketched him and photographed Rich because he posed for them one day, and they joked about her turning him into. She does these blue period like Picasso-ish paintings that are absolutely stunning, and they joked about her doing one of him, and so she's gonna, now that he's unfortunately not here anymore, but she's gonna be painting one live of him tonight at the
Wow.
Art Museum. So
We
I
did
want to go
something
check
like
that
that
out.
at the Harvey Wild Banquet a few weeks ago. We had Jeffrey McDaniels, local artist. and
Yes.
He painted a big painting, and I think
Yeah.
he ended up selling it for like $1,500, something like that. And
I love public art. Love watching
Yeah,
people
yeah.
people create things.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we're in a fun little spot, kind of. In as far as the events and the time of the year goes, you know, the locals have kind of we're in our little time before, you know, really the kids are off and summer really kicks in, but it's already kind of here. You know, we've been able to enjoy it, and the traffic on Sunday leaving the island.
Wasn't
is
too bad?
nuts. Yep, you always got to be careful.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, as Lauren and I are heading back from church, we're always just kind of just completely stunned at the amount of people in that line leaving Port A because
Oh, yeah,
checkout
yeah.
times at 11. So
Yeah.
it's
4 miles the other day, last Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So but
Remind
we
me not
are
to go there on a Sunday.
in
And did
other
you s-
news.
Did you see that we had the other graduates from Port A and Flower Bluff? The kids who graduated from those who went to Seashore came back and did a senior walk. It was our
Oh,
first
wow.
year
That's
doing
cool.
that.
That's
Oh
cool.
my! I cried, and I don't even know that I had those kids because I stopped working there in 2020. But I might have seen them as 5th or 6th years. But those seniors marched all through the halls.
Yeah.
The little kids were like high fiving them and
I've
giving
seen
them
videos
hugs.
of that. It's
Siblings,
impressive.
parents. It was so cute, so cute.
Interesting.
And we had the valedictorian. Valedictorian went to Seashore.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was
awesome.
very
well,
fun.
I'm going to change the tune here just a little bit. And Dr. Gully, I don't know if you've got any more information on this than we were given at the Island Moon. But if you want to follow along, you can just go to islandmoon.com and hear about this property that it's about 81 acres or so that is next to the public land off of what is basically South Packery and the South Pack jetty that goes back into Lake Padre. A public development plan has been submitted to the city for that area.
Right,
And there's no infrastructure or anything there, so that would be the first step to go in.
right. And they
and-
got it approved. It just was recently approved. It's a PUD or a PID or something that, a public improvement district or something.
Yes.
So it looks like something's going to move. They have a plan. Dale's seen it, I think, the plan.
Yes.
The history behind that the original owners years ago wanted to develop that into actually $1 billion resort.
Yes.
If you recall.
Oh, right.
And
This
it was
was
going to
the-
be real good until
Anyway.
they tried to get the city to close the beach right there for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that didn't go over well.
That's
That
when
did not
it's
That
go
was
when-
well.
one of my topics in a column, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Many topics.
Something about a
Yeah.
defecation and an oscillator. Right there. Yeah,
And,
that's I remember everybody going nuts on
Oh
that.
yeah.
And the
Well,
mantra
the petition
was,
worked, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was don't steal our beach, you know.
Yeah.
And that works. And people just got up in arms, and people lost their council seats over that. There were city councilmen that were supporting it initially and realized they stepped into a trap.
Didn't the
Because they-
developer go bankrupt at another or something like
Yeah.
No, I
that-
don't know what they went away and did something else. But,
It was the one that did
But-
Sandestin, Florida, and they went bankrupt.
Oh wow.
So it
So we don't know what they're building there. Is it going to be another development?
Bass
condos?
Pro.
there's
What?
going to be a mixed
Bass
use.
A new Schlitterbahn. A new Schlitterbahn, right?
Bass Pro in Margaritaville.
Freshwater water park.
The only thing be acceptable to everybody be a Costco, but it's
Gully
kinda
Bear.
I
way
know
out of
that's
the
not
way.
coming out here. That
So-
would be nice.
Trader
wouldn't it?
Joe's.
Trader Joe's, baby. Trader
Margaritaville.
Joe's.
No, it's going to be mixed use. There's going to be some retail. There's going to be obviously mostly residential.
Okay.
We need another bar or two out there.
And
Yeah.
there
Are they
may
going to be residential? They're going to be like Airbnb.
There may be something like that.
Yeah, there's a kind of design little plan that we have in the moon that we got. That was actually part of the plan that was submitted to the city, which is really neat. So
Yeah.
But we need to
interesting.
sell.
Things
We need to
developing
sell.
on the
All,
island.
we need to
It's-
sell all of Whitecap before we start building another one. And speaking of which, Whitecap is who was our speaker at Padre Island Business Association.
what it is.
That's who it is.
Well, it's good to hear. Good to hear an update on how that's going.
Yeah, that'll be first Thursday at Hard Knocks. Yep.
Well, and these are the kind of things, it's everybody just laughs about, Schlitterbahn came and went, and then,
Right.
people, hear the wrong words about Whitecap and think that's all going crazy. No,
No,
it's not. And
they're doing well.
I'm telling you right now, it's going to be one of those things where it's all slow, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's all at once.
Well,
Yep.
remember
You're going to
Cinnamon
have
Shores.
600 new neighbors.
yeah, yeah.
They,
Yeah.
they said that about Cinnamon Shores because it was slow to take off, and
Right.
see what happened since then.
Yeah,
South and north, yeah.
Yeah.
that's
And that's
outstanding.
beautiful.
You know, one of the things
Because
events
they're going to have retail in there too. They're
What-
going to have retail and restaurants in
what
it.
we
They're
have that
looking
we
for
don't think about is that we have this natural beauty and all this stuff that people don't see unless you have a boat or can wade to it. If you go to those fish pass jetties in the summertime and look at those jetties, the north side of the jetties where that moss grows, watch all the baby sea turtles. That you can sit on those rocks and just a few feet away, dangling your feet, and those sea turtles, or young ones, are coming up and eating that
Those
moss.
little platter-sized
Yeah.
creek.
Yeah,
creeks
yeah,
and
yeah.
turtles.
I have a
Yeah,
beautiful
I
place we live in.
photographed them.
Well, thanks again to all our guests and joining us on Island Moon Live. You can go to islandmoon.com to catch the rest of this. All right, everybody, keep it on Island Time.
Thank God it's Patrick. Thank God it's Patrick.
he's already resold it. Billy Wilson bought it, divided into 3 lots, 80 foot lots.
3 lots.
Yeah, well, it's 80, each one's 80 foot wide, and 300 feet deep.
So you're getting 3 new.
I was hoping it'd be 2. There's 2 lots over here.
Well, they might.
Maybe there's 7. He's gonna build one, Fred is to build one.
That was our last segment. Just making sure. We're set.
It ain't funny.
Be nice a little buffer there.
So, when is the deadline?
It doesn't open July.
It is July 18th.
Oh, what's it gonna run for?
Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't walking.
Okay.
A pound of flesh.